And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over television, social media, wherever you're looking. There's a whole lot happening. Ma'Khia Bryant's family came out and did a press conference with a lawyer. Man, oh man, there's a lot to unpack there, as the cool kids would say. There is so much I want to say about that. We'll get to that in a minute. Also, Joy Behar seems to believe she can let Tim Scott know about racism in America. Well, maybe she can from her perspective by possibly being a racist herself, according to her own standards. I think that if anyone else on the GOP side put on the blackface costume that she put on when she was a youngin', she would label them as a racist. So if the shoes fit, Joy, you gotta wear it. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, did you guys see that Zoom call with the professor, quote unquote professor at Cypress College in the LA area, California? What's the purpose in going to school when the professor is arguing with students about philosophical matters that probably aren't even relevant to the coursework at all? What is the purpose? Why not just go be a plumber or something like that? What's the point in wasting your money? You're spending money to train, but I'm getting triggered. Also, the anti-police podcaster got drunk after an anti-police podcast and killed an officer. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And once again, I thank y'all for being here. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show. If you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed what you heard thus far, go ahead and hit the like button on the video. I'd appreciate you if you did. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. That helps me out tremendously. And this particular podcast, as all my live podcasts will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. A link for that will be in the description box below. So, also, I got a couple shout outs. Shout out to ablmerch.com. I got all the good stuff on there. I got these hats. I got t-shirts. I got mugs. I got a bunch of stuff. I'm going to put up book bags and things of that nature very soon. But I got quite a few items on there. And shout out to all the people who have supported the store thus far. And, you know, the revamp, I put a lot of thought into it, put a lot of, energy into it. So I'm glad you guys are appreciating the store and supporting it. So thank y'all. Now, where do I begin? I kind of don't want to start with Ma'Khia because I need some time to breathe on that one. And I want everybody to come on in and get themselves prepared. So I think I'm going to let's start with Joy Behar versus Tim Scott. That's kind of I guess it's a good introduction topic for me. Now, you may or may not have seen my video where I was talking about Joy Behar saying that Tim Scott does not really understand racism in America. He doesn't really understand it because it's about structural racism and systemic racism. Now, this all stems from Tim Scott saying that America is not a racist country, which is not. There are racist people, and the Democratic Party are trying to make it become racist, but it's not a racist country. When I think about racist country, I'm thinking about China, where you can't even go to school in China if you are not Chinese. Or when they put different ethnic groups in quote-unquote re-education camps, really concentration camps because they are of different ethnic group. That's racist, okay? You don't have that kind of thing happening in America. Are there racist people? Yes. Tim Scott even said how he's been pulled over for no reason. And you know what? I didn't even like that part of Tim Scott's talking about he's been pulled over for no reason. He's been followed in the store because he was black. I didn't even like that part. But he acknowledged that there is racism. There are racist people, but the country itself is not racist. All right. As a matter of fact, I just saw that Jim Clyburn, the Democrat over there, black Democrat, agreed with what Tim Scott said. Kamala Harris, the quote unquote black, multiracial, the first black woman, the first Asian woman. Anyway, Kamala Harris said that the country is not racist. Tim Scott said the country is not racist, so who knows better? You got black conservative, two black liberals saying the exact same thing, and then you got Joy Behar wanting to kind of, and the thing about it, Joy Behar didn't even disagree. She said that the country is not racist, but he doesn't understand X, Y, and Z. Now, he didn't even mention the other thing, so why would you try to put that in there? Like, if you said you agree with what he said, how are you going to add a thing that he did not speak about, that he was not asked about? You're creating a straw man and trying to dismantle it from there. Why? Because he's conservative. Now, she would not create a straw man when it comes to Kamala Harris, when it comes to Jim Clyburn. I bet you won't do that. They said the exact same thing that he said. I think Kamala Harris added a caveat talking about, oh, well, there's things happened in the past. Well, Tim Scott said that too. He was like, let's not let our past determine our future or how we act right now. So he acknowledged the past and the original sin. Tim Scott said that in the speech. So Kamala Harris tried to add a caveat, trying to create a straw man of her own to a certain extent. But Tim Scott said the exact same thing. So will Joy Behar attack Kamala Harris? No, she won't. Will she attack Jim Clyburn? No, she won't. It's all about attacking somebody because of their political affiliation. But that's the view. That's what they do anyway. This is, if I was any conservative, I wouldn't even go in there. For what? What's the point? All they're going to do is just attack you. They could talk about you behind your back, and that's fine. And you can talk about them beyond their platform. I wouldn't go on their platform. They couldn't pay me to go on there. I've had requests to go on certain platforms, but at a certain point, it doesn't even make any, it's like useless to do it. For what? Why? What's the reason? Why would you want to go on The View? You can say you're trying to reach the other side of the aisle, but I think those that watch The View aren't really interested in that. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some people that watch The View may get convinced if Tim Scott were to go on there and they see him. But I think that's going to be in the extreme minority, to be totally honest with you. I think those that are trying to find new information are going to seek it out, and then they're going to stumble upon him. They're going to hear what he says. Or as a matter of fact, maybe they could just watch the speech that Tim Scott gave after Joe Biden's speech themselves and figure out how they really feel about it versus just taking Joy Behar's word for it or anyone else's word for it. And Twitter allowed Uncle Tim to trend on their platform. Now, my thing is, one thing that I was told about Twitter a long time ago, and I believe it's like that right now, is that the trending topics is curated, meaning they pick and choose what goes up there before it goes up there. It's not organic. You can't just start saying a thing and have it trend for the most part. I mean, they may let certain, it's kind of a mix. You may be able to say a certain thing and have it trend, but if they don't want a thing to trend, it's not going to trend. It's going to get nipped in the butt immediately. So right when they saw Uncle Tim, they should have taken it down right away. After all, they do that for other things. You never even see it trending, although it is trending. If it's something pro-Trump or anti-vaccine or something like that, that'll get removed usually right away. So why not remove the Uncle Tim thing right away? Also, was it even trending organically, or did they artificially kind of bump it up because Twitter employees agreed with calling Tim Scott, quote unquote, Uncle Tim, as in Uncle Tom? You understand what I'm saying? And it's weird how those that claim to be not racist and love black folks, all this, that, and the third, Black Lives Matter, will be the first ones to call Tim Scott, quote unquote, Uncle Tim. So is it Black Lives Matter or not? I can't really tell. If it is, then you have a really weird way of showing it by using racial slurs against somebody that you disagree with. Okay, I can disagree with you without calling you a racial slur. That's pretty much how I feel. So shout out to Joy Behar. I mean, your attempt to educate Tim Scott about racism, it failed because you didn't even really say anything. You're talking about, okay, systemic racism and all this and that, but you didn't even really say anything. When I hear, quote unquote, systemic racism, I don't really hear any examples of that. They say, hey, ABL, you think that this country is perfect? You think there's no systemic racism? I'm like, well, I never say anything is perfect. You're not going to find perfection on planet Earth. We're the best country, yes, but a perfect country, of course not. Nobody can be perfect. Unless you're Jesus Christ, you're not going to have perfection, right? So that's not even really a real thing. However, we are the best country. And if you're talking about systemic racism, let's talk about it for real. What do you really mean? What is that? what is systemic racism? I don't know. Maybe you guys in the comments, maybe you guys in the chat would know better than I do. If there is systemic racism, if there is, keyword if, it's not against black folks, it's in favor of black folks. Affirmative action, what is that called? Is that a thing that helps or hurts blacks? Or to give it to say it better, is it intended to help or hurt blacks? All right, same thing with going on the same train of affirmative action. We talking about college admissions. Oh, we gotta have a certain number of black and Hispanics admitted to this particular class or to the program. So we're gonna have this test that overwhelmingly discriminates against Asians. Is that systemic racism? I'm trying to figure it out. Where is systemic racism when you're talking about black folks being affected negatively, or a thing that is intended to affect black folks negatively? When you're talking about the police, is any of that systemic racism there? I'm finding that hard to believe. People are getting shot by police because it's justified. If you got a knife and you Freddy Krueger, Jason, you trying to go full stab mode, 1,000 stabs a second, well, what happens in that situation? You're about to stab somebody to death, hacksaw Jim Duggan type style, and you get shot by police and you expire. Is that systemic racism, or did the officer save somebody's life due to you or whoever the person is trying to stab somebody? It's weird how people say certain things and it kind of just gets accepted and never really challenged. That's part of what I try to do. I try to challenge certain things. It's like, is that racist? I'm not really sure that really counts as racist. I'm kind of having a hard time figuring it out. That's part of my job. That's part of what I'm here to do. And shout out to everybody that understands that. So, yeah, there's a lot happening on the internets all over the place. And if you enjoyed what you've heard so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. If you're listening on an audio platform, go ahead, give me the 5-star rating, review, whatever you can over there. I'd appreciate you if you did. But yeah, Tim Scott's speech was cool. I think he maybe could have said more. Or my only issue with the Tim Scott speech was the race part. That's my biggest issue, because I don't want to give these leftists an inch. Because when he says, "Oh, I get followed in the store, I get pulled for no reason," when he says stuff like that, it gives the left some type of ammunition. I was like, oh, well, your own man, Tim Scott, said that he gets followed in the store and, he gets pulled by police for no reason. So that must means it happen all the time, right, to everybody that's black. So I didn't like that part. But overall, it was a very good speech. So shout out to Tim Scott and Joy Behar. You just got to stop. The View in general, you guys are complete nut jobs. But it is what it is. All right. Now, let's get to some more here. Let's get to, the Mad Professor. I will get to Ma'Khia Bryant. Y'all just hang tight. But the Mad Professor. Now, the professor, this is at Cypress College in, L.A. or the L.A. area. And I read that it's a community college. I'm not sure if that's true or false. But if anybody's out there that can hear me, if you're about to go to college, you're in college, and you have one of these ridiculous nut job professors, just go ahead and try something else, meaning go to a different school, take a different class at that same school if you want to stay at the school. Just don't subject yourself to this kind of treatment. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it right quick, because this whole thing was completely crazy. Hold on one second. I'm gonna find the Fox News clip, so that'll just give you a brief rundown of it. Here we go. Let's see if this wants to play properly, and we'll get it rocking. And let's do desktop. Perfect. All right, let's do it.
I wouldn't call the police.
Why wouldn't you call the police?
I don't trust them.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Can we get a little volume? Maybe that might be as much as it does.
I have a difficult job, but we have to have that
All of
fine
them?
life.
So basically, what he did was he gave a speech or wrote a paper and read it about how the police are heroes and they do a good job, all this and that. So you see this little smug professor. I'm not sure, black, white, Hispanic. I don't know what's going on. But you see the little smug look when he was saying that police are heroes, and she's like, "Well, all of them? Is that what you really believe?"
Oh, I'm not. I mean, I'd say a good majority of them.
You're saying police officers should be revered, viewed as heroes? They
I
belong
think
on
it's.
TV shows with children?
I think they are heroes in a sense because they come to your need and they come and help you. What do we call when we're in trouble and someone has a knife or a gun?
I wouldn't call the police.
Why wouldn't you?
Now, my thing is, okay, why wouldn't you call the police? All right, you have something going on in your immediate space, your house, your neighborhood, or whatever. Why wouldn't you call the police? Now, if it's me, and I think this should go for anyone that can legally do this, if it's me, I'm going to be protecting myself with arms if I had them because, boating accident, tragic, it was terrible. But anyway, if I have a weapon, which you should have a weapon, some kind of arms legally, you should be able to defend yourself in that moment. But I'm definitely going to call the police because you got a whole lot happening. This person could have people that come back behind them. You need reinforcements. You want to make sure the coast is clear. You don't want someone to call the police on you, and then you got to explain what's happening, why you didn't call the police. You got to call the police, all right? So this is just crazy. Why do you think that the police are so bad and so dangerous? And I'm going to talk about that drunk driving police hater a little bit later as well. I did not forget about that one.
You call the police.
I don't trust them.
Now, there was a lot more to it, but imagine this is your professor right here. Imagine that's your professor, and you're on a Zoom class doing this. This is like, shout out to one of you guys wrote a comment. I read it. One of you guys said, imagine paying between $25,000 and $65,000 a year to have Twitter debates on Zoom with your professor. Like, that's the silliest thing. This class, I don't know what it is, but it can't be required to really get a good education. It can't be an essential class. It can't be. If I'm going to college, I'm trying to get a real world skill. Yes, I'm trying to become a doctor, lawyer, biochemical engineer. I'm trying to do something that requires serious skill and serious training. Whatever she is on, it can't really be that. It can't be required. It can't really be that important. Pretty much is what I'm trying to say. It can't be, because why waste the time talking about philosophical things that aren't really relevant to education? Because at the end of it, it comes down to personal opinion. I support the police. You don't support the police. So why are we having a debate over it if you are my teacher while we're in class? Now, if you want to debate after class, and I know you or something like that, like let's see, I happen to be out and about, right? And I spot you out and about. And I've seen it happen before. Teachers, going to Sam's Club or whatever, just chilling, hanging out. If I see you out there, you want to talk about something, okay, cool. But we're in the class, and I'm paying for this. And one thing I noticed about this particular situation, and the whole video is available on my website, and the video I did today about it, it's in the description. And I also played it all throughout the video and just paused in certain places. But one thing I noticed about this whole thing is that the young man, the so-called student, appeared to be more mature than the professor. So it's like, what's the point in me paying you for you to teach me when I should teach you? And the young man was trying to teach her. He was actually, he took the role of the teacher while she's like a little kid still. It was crazy. So yeah, if that's your teacher and you got that going on in college, especially where you got to pay for it, you don't have to put up with that. You can go somewhere else or just drop out in general. If it was me, I would just drop this class altogether. I've done that before. Like, middle of the semester, I'm gonna have 12 credits. I'm not filling one class. I just drop the class. I don't even really care. Like, but you know what? By the time I started doing that, I was done with college anyway. Had enough with college. Had enough with 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th grade. Had enough. So I was done. And then here's another question for you guys. They want to give, quote unquote, give, really take, and then give back 4 more years of public education. So I think they want to have 2 years of pre-K, and then they want to have 2 more years after your 12th grade year. So basically, you're going to have the 13th and the 14th grade. How are you going to have a good quality of education in those 2 years if it's public, if K through 12 is not very good by itself? Like, let's just make that make sense. You're going to have the same teachers that are not doing very well in some parts of the country. Not all parts of the country, but in a lot of parts of the country that are not doing very well, you're going to have those same people teaching the 13th and the 14th grade. So what's the point in doing it? It doesn't make any sense. Like I said in the previous video, you have kids that graduate high school without the ability to read. What is the purpose in giving them 2 more years of that? How is that going to help them? It's not at all. All right. Not in the least bit. Yeah, her mindset is fixed. Police bad, badge bad, maybe even white man bad. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not really sure what race she is. This is like super ambiguous. It could be like white. It could be some kind of Hispanic. I don't know what's going on. Asian, who knows? All right, definitely not black. But I digress. All right, what else we got going on? There's a lot happening. There's a whole lot happening here. Speaking about the police and police haters, let's talk about a situation that happened in New York City. Now, this is really, really crazy, really sad, and I feel like it could have been intentional. Judging by what the situation was, circumstances was, it probably was not intentional, but it probably was. I think it's just as possible that it was done on purpose than it was a mistake. It's like 50-50, purposeful mistake. Now you got this so-called podcaster who had like a 2-hour Facebook podcast. And one of the main things was how she hates the police, right? This is in New York City. She hates the police, F cops, F12, all these things, right? That's her main thing in the whole podcast. And right after the podcast, and before I get to after the podcast, during the podcast, she had been drinking. You could see her on camera on the podcast drinking some kind of quote unquote unknown red liquid. It was clear that she was getting drunk. So right after the podcast wrapped up, after this whole anti-police rant for a good 2 hours, after the podcast wrapped up, she left, got in the car, and had been drinking. So she was drunk behind the wheel. And as a matter of fact, I know she was drunk because she took a test, breathalyzer test, 2 hours after. Matter of fact, it might have been more than that, but at least 2 hours after she got arrested, and she still blew a blood alcohol level that's beyond the legal limit, like 2 or 3 times the legal limit. So she was drunk behind the wheel. Anyway, she does the anti-police podcast, gets behind the wheel. It's at night, and she immediately hits Anastasio Sakos, a 30-something, I think a 32-year-old police officer on a Long Island Expressway. She hit him with so much force that his body flew 100 feet from that spot where she hit him. 100 feet. He was hit to the point where his rain boots, he came out of his rain boots. And the officer had to go get his rain boots. They showed that on camera too. And not only did she hit him on the expressway, she kept on going. So it was a hit and run. Then she got off the expressway and ran up on the curb and then was surrounded by cops to get arrested. And she was still fighting the cops when she got arrested. So let me get this straight. You do a whole anti-police podcast. You go on the Long Island Expressway. You hit an officer with so much force, send him 100 feet, kill him. You try to keep on going. Your windshield smashed. You're dragging the traffic cone, and then you pull over or you kind of crash a little bit. And when you're getting arrested, you're still trying to buck and resist and cuss and fuss. Why? What are you even doing? Yeah, and she was on weed too. She was high and drunk. She was smoking weed and drinking alcohol. Now, a lot of these people that do stuff like that, get behind the wheel of a car drunk and smoke weed, they also do other drugs. Could have been something else in their weed aside from just weed itself. But even if not for the weed she had been drinking, which is I think you can't do behind the wheel. Okay, drunk driving is extremely dangerous. And she did that at night and killed the officer. Now, there's a lot of people like this out there that have this whole anti-police sentiment. She's not the only one. they're saying, is accident and hit and run, all this and that and the third, but it could be premeditated because she just did a whole anti-police podcast right before she got in the car. Like, she literally did her anti-police podcast talking about, I don't care about you or your wife or your kids. And by the way, the officer in this case had a wife and kids and just bought a house. So he was trying to do the right thing, and he was doing the right thing, only to have his life taken from him by this crazy lady. It was really, really a shame. So RIP to Anastasio Sacco. So hopefully his family is able to, move forward in a peaceful way. And talking about a max 15 years for the young lady, hopefully she doesn't bond out or get a slap on the wrist when sentenced, because that's common, unfortunately. A lot of these cases where you got somebody that does something like that, they kind of get a slap on the wrist and it's over with. So hopefully that doesn't happen in this case. Hopefully that's not what goes on. All right, let me see. Yeah, see, she may have thought in her mind that it wouldn't be a big deal. See, that's something else about defund the police. It emboldens criminals because they feel like I could do whatever I want. There's no police anywhere that's going to enforce this law that I must abide by. So how about I just don't enforce? How about I don't follow any laws? I do whatever I want because it doesn't even really matter. That's the mentality that they have, in my humble opinion. It's not a very good one to have. Not in the least bit. Not at all. So yeah, I mean, there's quite a few charges with this woman. I mean, the officer obviously died. So vehicular manslaughter, potentially murder, if they could prove motive, if they could prove that she did the podcast talking about how much she hates the police and then went out there and killed a police officer. If they could prove that was intent, that'd bump them charges up. But for right now, vehicular manslaughter probably. You also have a DUI, and her license was suspended anyway because she had a bad driving record. This ain't the first time she's gotten into trouble behind the wheel. Now, I'm not sure if she killed anybody before or if it was her first time doing that, but she already had a bad driving record. She couldn't even drive. So no license, probably no insurance, drunk behind the wheel, killing the officer. It's all bad. All bad. But these are the people that say defund the police and ACAB and all this and that. The miscreants of society, the crust of society. Regardless of where you go, black neighborhood, white neighborhood, Hispanic or whatever, everybody wants to be safe. Period. You're going to have some people in all these places that do things that they shouldn't be doing, that engage in criminal activity. The problem with the black community is that we have a lot of these people. We have many more than other races as a proportion. I'm not trying to say that everybody is a criminal in the black community, far from it. The problem is that it's too many of them, and a lot of us kind of give them passes. Oh, it's no big deal. You can do whatever you want. Too many of us give them passes, and that's the issue, right? So that's the problem with that. Now, what else we got going on? There's a lot. There is a lot here. Hold on. Oh, the contact. Did you see the contact tracing app that had data leaked from it? So I did a video on this. Contact tracing, as far as I know, and if I'm wrong, medical guys, girls, let me know in the comments. When they talking about contact tracing, that's when they pretty much track where you go. And if someone else is using that same platform and they're tracked wherever they go, or if it's known that there was an outbreak at a particular place at a particular time, you may get a notification that says, hey, you may have been exposed to the virus because when you were at this location, you were at McDonald's getting your chicken tendies, there was a guy behind the counter that also had the virus. So you might want to check to see if you got it. Maybe you want to self-quarantine for a minute to see if everything's on the up and up. So that's the contact tracing app. And again, if you guys in the medical field know better, let me know what's what in the comments below. But anyway, this app had their data breached. And right when the whole vaccine passport thing was announced, I said it. I was like, man, you know what? This is very dangerous because what if it gets hacked and all your data is out there? Your vaccination status and your name and where you live, all this and that. Now, in this particular breach, it was really weird. They were saying that no socials were found on it, and no banking information was found on it, but your name, your address, your sexual orientation, and also your vaccination status was on it, or your exposure status, not your vaccination status. So, okay, if it's about the virus, why are we talking about sexual orientation? Why are we talking about gay or straight when we're talking about contact tracing? What does that got to do with it? If the virus is airborne and anybody can get it, why does it matter if somebody's gay or not? What does that got to do with any of this? Is it an HIV prevention app or what? I mean, because it could use it in the same way. All right, you were at this particular event, this party, quote unquote, and someone else was at the same party, and they got the big virus, the house in Virginia. You understand? They got that virus, so you might want to go get tested and just chill for a minute to see what's happening. It could be the exact same thing. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff. I'm throwing it at the wall and see what sticks. I'm just trying to figure it out for myself. But that's the only reason I could think of that they would have sexual orientation in the data breach when you're talking about a contact tracing app for the virus. What does that got to do with sexual orientation? Nothing. But if you're HIV positive, it's got everything to do with it because HIV is very prevalent in the gay community. I saw a stat that said that 50% of gay black men will catch HIV. I'll repeat that. 50% of gay black men will, not could or at risk for, no. 50% of gay black men will catch HIV. Now, whether they die or not is a different story. 50% of gay black men will catch HIV. So when they say sexual orientation, maybe this app will be used for something else aside from the virus, aside for contact tracing. And you know what? I fear this will happen. They're going to try to start data mining very sensitive things that they shouldn't be data mining. And we're going to be the guinea pigs for the whole operation. But like I've said before, if you guys want to get the vax, go ahead, go for it. But I'm not really with it. It does not cure the virus. It does not prevent you from spreading it. All that it does is make your symptoms lesser. Now, maybe that might help you if you believe in it, if it actually works. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe that could help you. But for a guy like myself, I'm like, you know what? I'll kind of pass on that. I will kind of pass. Right? I'm not even really with it. I'll get to the phones in about a half hour, so y'all just hang tight. All right. So what else we got? And as far as the contact tracing app, it's clear that, hold on, did I do the wrong thing? I messed up. My fault. I'm actually dummy. I hit you by mistake. I meant to hire somebody else. But back to what I was saying about the what was that? Oh, the contact tracing. So if you have a contact tracing data app in one state in Pennsylvania, and that had got compromised, what's going to be the experience with the virus, the vaccine, with the vaccine passport? I said right away, right when they announced it, it's going to be a security risk. Maybe I don't want everyone to know that I got the vaccine or I was exposed to the virus. They're talking about, it's going to be on a secure connection and nobody would know. Well, the contact tracing app said the same thing, right? It'd be a secure connection. Nobody's going to know. But yet, it was not a secure connection, and people do know. Because if it gets hacked and it's out there, then what? 72,000 people in one app in Pennsylvania. What about the quote-unquote national vaccine passport? And they're saying right now that you may require a vaccine passport to go to Europe. So if you need a vaccine passport to go to Europe, that means that whatever they give you could be at risk for being hacked, being compromised. I'm just not a fan. So they shouldn't do this. Shout out to Ron DeSantis for saying no vaccine passport. I think Rand Paul said the same exact thing. So shout out to them for that. That was a correct decision. 1,000%. 100%. All right. And what else we got going on? Oh, now Ma'Khia Bryant. I'm going to talk about Ma'Khia Bryant right quick because this whole thing has really kind of devolved into a big mess. A crazy, ridiculous mess. Right? Now, Ma'Khia Bryant, we all know what happened. She was 15 or 16 years old, not really sure how old, but she was 15 or 16 years old, and she tried to stab somebody to death, and officer's right there, so he had to shoot her. There was no other choice. People could say, oh, I heard somebody say shoot them in the kneecaps. To talk about that right quick, before we get to the whole press conference and the family and whatnot and what they didn't do, how they dropped the ball, somebody says, or a lot of people say, oh, shoot him in the leg, that's the best way. Well, I saw a video of a guy running. I may have said it before, but I'm going to say it again in case you didn't hear me. I saw a video of a guy running from the police out there in Chicago. He gets shot in his leg, and he died within 1 minute because it hit the femoral artery. See, when you get shot, there's a chance you might die. Okay, getting shot is not like a walk in the park. It's not like just getting hit with a stick. You're getting shot. A bullet is entering your body, and if you get hollow tips, it's going to expand in your body. So a bullet is a bullet is a bullet. If you're getting shot, you might die. It doesn't matter where you get shot. People talking about, they think center mass means in the chest, like you getting shot in your heart. That's not what that means. Okay, center mass really is like in your whole abdominal, from your shoulder blade down to your belly, to your groin area. That's center mass because that's the biggest part of your body. When you're running like this, it's not going to be all gangly, but your arms and your legs and your head and all this and that is going to be moving all over the place. It's difficult to hit one of your limbs. Even if you do hit a limb, you got a thing called blood loss. If you bleed out in a minute and die from a leg shot, then it didn't matter, did it? But anyway, that whole leg shot thing is dumb. Talking about Ma'Khia Bryant, because regardless of what, you getting shot, you might die. Anyway, we know what happened with Ma'Khia Bryant. It's unfortunate, may she rest in peace, but we know what happened. The officer had no choice but to go ahead and do that to save the young lady's life that was in the pink, about to get stabbed. Now, the foster mom already spoke and said that the girls or the women that came to her house came there because it was the foster mom's birthday. So they were there for that reason. Not to go try to fight Ma'Khia. That's not what that was at all. The neighbor across the street saw the whole thing happen. He was a witness, and he had videotape from his security footage and said the officer had no choice. The videotape doesn't lie. So the family now wants to come out, the biological family that is, and do a lawyer-led press conference. So they're out there with the whole family. Matter of fact, let's put the picture up, because this is a tweet that I had to get out, because this really is how I feel. And I'm gonna try to see if I can put it on the screen properly. I'll put it on the screen in a minute, so y'all just hang tight. But the whole family was out there, the biological family. And when I say whole family, I mean her biological mom, her dad, her grandma, aunt, and I think probably her sister. Or she might have two sisters, because I see like two little kids. Or young girls, not little kids. So here is a tweet. Let me put it on the screen right quick, because this is very important. And even people that are on the left agreed with what I was saying about this tweet. All right. Now here it is. If you guys can't see it, if you can't read it, it says, all these family members showed up for Ma'Khia Bryant, but nobody could take her in. One more time for those in the back that didn't hear me. All these family members showed up for Ma'Khia Bryant, but nobody could take her in. Like I said, you got everybody out there. You got the daddy with the gold chain and some Jordans on, which is ridiculous, but I digress. You got the mama out there. You got the lawyer, two lawyers. Looks like her two sisters, grandma and aunt, all out there. Okay, you have 8 people out there. Where was one person to take Ma'Khia Bryant in when they needed her, when she needed them to do it? Where were they at? People talking about, oh, it's a complicated process. ABL is not so cut and dry. Man, please. In my life, in the hood, I done seen cousins staying with the family like they are a brother and sister. Like I said in the video, a prime example is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. a prime example is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will Smith was not the brother of Carlton. He was not the brother of Hillary or Ashley. He was not Uncle Phil's son. That was his uncle Phil, his Aunt Viv. This was the cousin living, like, he lived with that family for like years. He became part of their family as far as like an immediate family member, a brother, like a sibling or a son. That's what he was to Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv. That is very common. I done seen family members, they didn't been in my house for a while. Like, even like in the summertime, everybody did that. You go stay with your grandma, stay with your aunt, your grandpa. You go to your uncle's house for a couple of weeks or something. Like, that was normal. And a lot of times, the aunt and uncle would raise their sister's kids because she in jail, she on drugs. That's normal. So why couldn't anyone take Ma'Khia Bryant in? That's my question. I don't want to hear this whole thing about, the system is complicated. Well, how did she get to the system in the first place? What was the reason why Ma'Khia Bryant was in the system? That's my question. If we can answer that, then we can really get somewhere. And the lawyer was asked those questions, saying, hey, the reporters are asking the lawyer the questions, like, hey, why was Ma'Khia Bryant in foster care to begin with? What's going on? And she didn't want to answer that. She was like, oh, well, we get to this story as time progresses. We'll flesh that story out. It's like, no, tell me right now. Isn't that very important? Because this incident happened at the foster house. And there was a alleged 911 call where the sister called saying that she does not want to be there at the foster house anymore. And that could have led up to this whole thing. The former foster kids came to the foster mother that they stayed at years ago, and they told Ma'Khia, hey, you need to clean up your bedroom and stuff like that. They were not there for that purpose. They were there for the foster mom's birthday party because they were former foster children themselves, and they were there because they loved the mother. They were not there to confront Ma'Khia, but it happened, and that's when Ma'Khia went off the deep end. So it's important to understand why she was in foster care to begin with. But I don't want to hear this whole thing about, oh, well, it's the system and blah, 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 and you got to go get certified, please. I've lived at family members' houses in the summertime for 2-3 months up until I got to be like well into high school. Like my whole life. That's nothing. I've seen family members stay. I've seen family members stay with their family as if they are, as if they are one of the family without adoption. Just stay there. So surely somebody could have came in and did something. The household was probably messed up. Something probably went down in the household that they don't want to talk about right now. It could be a pending investigation, an open case, who knows. Something happened in that household, in my opinion. Also, they said that Ma'Khia has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 14 open cases in juvenile court. 14 cases open in juvenile court. Ma'Khia at 15 to 16 years old. So what's going on? And for somebody to be so young, 15 to 16 years old with that many cases, I'm thinking that it didn't just happen at age 16 or 15. I'm thinking it happened for a long time, 11, 12. How do you get to be 10, 11 years old and be a terror? Why? What's happening? What's going on? How long was she in foster care? They said she was at the most recent house for 2 months, but she had been in care for longer than that most recent house. Why was she kicked out of different houses? Was she kicked out? Did she want to get out? Why? Why? The lawyer said nothing. All that they're trying to do, or the lawyer especially, it's about this money. Because why would a lawyer be out there? For what? What case do you have, lawyer? You're trying to, throw the foster care system under the bus, and you want to throw the police under the bus because, they reacted too harshly. Well, how should you react to a knife about to enter somebody's head like this here? What's the appropriate reaction to that? Again, if you get shot in the leg, hit that artery, it's a wrap. You're going to be dead right there, so it don't even matter. I mean, center mass is easier, so you won't mess around and miss somebody or hit an innocent bystander. Center mass, rather than trying to shoot for the leg and hit it and then they die right away. People have been shot in the mass and live, Jacob Blake. But even though Jacob Blake did not die, people still went to protest. So does it even really matter? If you get shot in the leg, you see what I'm saying? Because if you get shot in the leg and he paralyzed, you're still going to say, oh, he shouldn't have got shot. So it's like you can't really win. You got to do the right thing out there. And it's unfortunate that it had to happen like this. I don't like to see somebody just, pass away, expire, especially a 16-year-old. Who wants to see that? But what was the alternative? What was the choice? There is no choice. But they want to try and get some of that money, and it's really unfortunate. It's really a shame that this had to happen like this. The family could have been there for her before this whole thing got out of control. There could have been a productive environment for not only Ma'Khia, but for her sister, her other siblings, if she has them. There could have been a better environment for her. But I think she probably didn't have a chance from the beginning, and it's really a shame. Yeah, you get all these people, the auntie, the grandma, the dad, the mom, all of them coming out. Where were they at when she needed them? That's my question. People can say I'm being judgmental or whatever, but it's a legitimate question. And like I said, even those that are on the left that don't even really like what I stand for had to agree. They got to agree. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see if I can find one tweet that kind of encapsulates that whole thing. I'm going to see if I can find it. Oh, and by the way, if you like what you've heard so far, go ahead and like the video. Share the video. Do all that good stuff. I'd appreciate you if you did that for me. And also, go to ablmerch.com. I got the merch over there. I got all kind of stuff. And I'm going to put out a lot more stuff coming out here pretty soon. So y'all just hang tight. And I can't even find that meme. Or the meme that the person responded to me with. Basically, the person was saying, I'm liking the ABL tweet, what's the world coming to? Because it's real. There's one thing I stand on. I don't care if people want to hate, they want to talk crazy. I'm going to always stand on the truth, period. That's what really matters is the truth. Because if nothing else is there, I'm going to always have that truth. 100%. Oh, yeah, if you are a kid being raised with no parents, what chance do you have in this world? It's a hard life for you, very hard, to try and basically raise yourself in an environment that's not conducive for such a thing. What are you really going to do? All right. Thank you, Greta, the other one, for subscribing. I'm glad you're enjoying your time here. Time well spent. Thank you for that. Thank you. All right. Did I cover everything that I wanted to cover so far? I spoke about Joy Behar trying to school Tim Scott about racism in America and failing miserably. You're talking about crash and burn, car on fire type stuff. Let me see. A professor at Cypress in LA trying to argue with a student. To go back to that right quick. Again, if you are college aged, if you're in college right now, or you want to go to college soon, if you have bad professors, SJW professors, you need to find something else to do. Go to a different school, pick different courses, because that's not really going to... See, it's one thing if you have a professor that happens to be liberal, just personally, and they're not trying to be all crazy in your face with it. That's fine. I don't really care about that. As a matter of fact, in that video I showed earlier about the professor trying to have a debate with the kid, there was another kid that was not shown in the Fox News clip that I showed in my clip on my video I did today on my channel. And the other kid did not agree with the kid talking about police being heroes. He did not agree with him, but it was respectful. He was like, hey, you know what? I don't agree with you, but I fight for your right to say what you want to say, whether I agree or disagree. And I like that. That's what I like. The two kids, the young men, had more sense than the so-called professor. That professor looked like they are a part-time professor and a full-time Antifa member. Because, and sometimes when they're in Antifa, they put on the black, the new Klan outfit, they put that on and go out there and tear up a Starbucks, right? But when they are in their normie mode, they just go out there and screech and look crazy, angry, tired, and everything else up under the sun. All right. them cats are making their nose and eyes look crazy, but it don't even matter because of what she got. She got a whole cat castle. That's what I think about when I see some of these crazy people. I'm thinking about, your house looks like a gingerbread house for cats. That's what it looks like. But I digress. Yeah, the professor was a total moron. If you have a moron professor, you're not in the right place. They're supposed to be the smart ones, so why are they the morons? Doesn't really compute, does it? But again, we'll move on. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. And did I do it right this time? Hopefully I did. We'll see. All righty. Super chats on deck, and then we're going to get to the calls. And you guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. I'll open that in just a moment. We got super chats first, and then we get to the calls. All right. So let's go ahead and get on to it. And they put it in the weird place. I got to keep going I got to jump through hoops of fire to be able to get to the page. All right, here we go. Thank you to Apple, who says, ABL, love your deep, detailed analysis of Biden's speech. Only 12 million people watched, 48 million who watched President Trump's first speech. Wow. That's a big drop-off, ain't it? But he's the most popular president ever, 81 million votes. Do you believe that? No. I don't believe that at all. That gets to Doug Ripley for the donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. The fist bump. Appreciate that, boss. That gets to the jerk who says, I'm here to chew gum and kick hind parts, and I'm all out of gum. Sincerely, conservative guy. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Doug says, I'm trying to outspin Apple Balker, all Puff Daddy. You the best, ABL. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Apple says, FBI raided some of Alaskan couple for Pelosi's laptop. They were at their rally, but never inside the Capitol. FBI out of control. Democrat secret police. Yeah, you know what? The FBI, what's going on with the FBI here? So I did see that story. They went all the way to Alaska, raided someone's home. I'm talking about kick door, all of that. Raided somebody's home and went to the wrong house. The wrong house. Not that the laptop was not there. Of course it wasn't there because it couldn't be there. They were at the wrong house. It's like, all right, not only are you going for things that are totally irrelevant, like what's on the laptop, really? Mahjong, solitaire. She ain't doing no work on no laptop at 1,000 years old. She probably could barely even work it. So what's the point of trying to find a laptop, number one? And number two, you go into the wrong house, you're incompetent. What's happening with FBI? This is why I say this whole thing with the vaccine passport. If you got regular normie citizens that can't get it right and leaking data, not following protocols of safety, what makes anyone think that the FBI or the government, the NSA or whatever, is going to do better than regular normie citizens? See, the thing about the normies, that they have an incentive to do right. If the normies don't do right, they may lose their job. But a lot of these FBI guys, they don't really care about doing stuff right. Well, not FBI specifically, directly in this case. I'm talking about the government in general, not just the FBI. But they don't really care about doing things 100% right and trying to innovate and creating new systems because they're going to get paid regardless, so it don't matter. When you have more government intervention, you're going to have less innovation and things not going to go the way that they should. So, yeah, I think that's probably accurate. I think that's an accurate description, Democratic secret police. And that's going to be the case if they say, all right, defund the police. One thing that a lot of you guys told me when I was saying, okay, I put a meme on my Facebook and my Twitter, and I was like, well, you can't enforce gun control without the police if you defund the police, right? But they were like, wait a minute, ABL, the federales going to come in. I was like, oh, man, I forgot about that part. So they're talking about defund the police this, the police that, the police. They're all bad. Maybe the objective is to get the federales involved. They're trying to have federal elections. How are you going to secure that? Federales. They want everything to be federal, nationalized, universal health care, no private insurance. They're trying to federalize things. And if you're going to have federal things like this, you're going to have federal police, federal agents to regulate them. So we don't want to go down that road because there was a place that did something just like that over in Europe. I forget where it was in the 30s and the 40s, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But we'll move right along. Let me see. Ryan Walker says, what are your thoughts on the Arizona audit? I've not really been following that. I just want something to come of it. You see, I don't want to follow it and then be upset that nothing comes of it. So we'll see what happens. But for now, it's pretty interesting. I'll say that. Apu has a few here. He says, hold on 1 second. He says, FBI, already read that one. January 6th, Patriots arrested for trespassing Capitol, being held in solitary cells before trial. Guards beating them up. Absolute disgrace of justice. Wow. That's crazy. And it's like, for what though? You got basically tourists that went a little over the top by going in. And people talking about right this, right that, but not everybody was doing the same thing. You have people that were out there that were doing different things. But if anybody was out there, they didn't even go to the Capitol. If anybody was out there, then they're labeled as some kind of insurrectionist. It's stupid. But I figured it would happen because of the stranglehold the Democratic Party have on government and especially the media. The media is where it all starts. I figured it would happen, unfortunately. I figured they would use that against us in this way. And thank you to Doug for the thumbs up emoji. And shout out to Apu for a few more. He says, Cypress College professor says she won't call police. ABL favorite fried chicken, KFC, Popeyes, churches. I'm not really a fried chicken guy anymore because my skin be breaking out. I can't do it. You know, I can be on camera with these big crazy zits on my face. You know, that's not really the wave. So, but when I was eating fried chicken, I was probably Popeyes. That's probably the best. Out of that list, Popeyes. But really, the truth is that it's Chick-fil-A. I mean, because Chick-fil-A, they go in there, they give you like the biggest, warmest smile. Hello, welcome to Chick-fil-A. How are you doing? You wonderfully blessed. It's just, you know, everybody's so nice. It's like cheers. Everybody knows your name. It's beautiful. And it's been like that for a long time. That's what they hang their head on, is customer service, and it's great. But Popeyes, you know, it's a little ghetto in there, but the chicken is off the meat rack. So, yeah, I like Popeyes. Apu says, ABL favorite movie genre, sci-fi, fantasy, horror, action. My favorite movie genre? Probably sci-fi. I like sci-fi. Yeah. That's probably my favorite out of all of those. Fantasy, horror. Horror is not scary to me, so I don't really see the purpose. It's just kind of boring. The only horror movie that really scared me was when I was a little boy watching it and what was that? 13th, Friday the 13th. When I was like a little kid, like 7, 8 years old or younger than that. But as an adult, I'm not scared of horror. It's kind of boring. He also says from Doug Ripley, did you see the movie Godzilla vs. Kong? I've not seen that yet. Thank you to John for the fist bump emoji. Thank you to Brian for the super chat. Thank you to Apple who says only privilege is liberal Democrat privilege. I'm with you on that one. Thank you to John for your super chats. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Bobby Etheridge who says, just a donation, thank you for that. Thank you to the anti-view who says, University of Minnesota student leader urges students, make their lives hell, annoy the S out of them, like use up their resources, make their officers show up to something. I mean, it's like, with that going on, what's the purpose in being there? If I was in a situation like that and I'm an officer, I would go ahead and just go somewhere else. I would go somewhere else. Period. All right, let me see. Let's go back to where I was. Thank you to Noah who says, I don't call the police anymore. I just call LeBron. Yeah, you just put a basketball in the air, LeBron James shows up and protects you. The anti-view says, she's speaking about the Minnesota police. Yeah, I figure. Thank you, Mr. Congress, for your donation. I cannot see what that is. It's an emoji, though. Thank you for that. Thank you to Brian, who says, ABL live in Columbus on the east side where the Ma'Khia incident happened. Columbus is getting worse and worse, especially downtown. It's a mess because of the protests and BLM graffiti everywhere. You're my favorite, ABL. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. And you know, I have family in Columbus. Actually, a lot of family in Columbus. If anybody looks like me, and I'm being serious, if anybody looks like me in my face in Columbus, they are my cousin. I'm pretty much sure they are. Like, I might ask about Ma'Khia and see what's going on with that, because I have family in Columbus. Like, that's probably, I got family in Columbus, in DC, and Charleston, West Virginia. So that's really my three biggest spots in the country. Thank you to Carrie for your donation. Thank you to Tom at Tabasco, who says, got called racist for doing my job yesterday. Some white guilt made me do a super chat. Shout out to Jane Doe, who says, Aunt Jemima is still around minus her picture. Yeah, that's crazy. It's so dumb. It's like, why? What is the reason? It's like a lot of these outrages happen for a very short period of time and then they go away. And nobody really cares after that. So what's the purpose in kowtowing to the outrages? Thank you to 160 for your donation. Thank you to Don Juan for your super chat. Thank you to Luis Marino, who says, like your stuff, ABL, keep it up, man, from NYC, behind leftist lines. Thank you for that. Thank you to Bobby Lane, who said, keep up the truth bombs, ABL. You the man. Thank you for that. Thank you to Maurice Speaks, the beast, who says, why isn't that vehicular manslaughter case on Front Street Media clearly a hate crime? Why are blacks getting a hall pass to openly be racist every day? That's a good question. They feel like black folks can't be racist for some reason. I'm not really sure how that makes any sense, but that's what they say. Thank you to Wolfgang, who says, fascism was always a leftist ideology. Biden is a fascist if he believes we the people are the government. No, that is not what our nation is. Never. Shout out to Hudson Jackson II, who says, this anti-cop thing is a trap. If people think things are bad now, wait till the UN Strong Cities initiative is implemented. Thank you to Kate's commentary for the donation. Shout out to Ian, who says, active shooter in Oneida Casino in Green Bay, Wisconsin right now. Wow. In a casino? Yikes. Now, how does that happen? Like, inside the casino? That's crazy. Thank you to Tasha, who says, Fox News, Ohio, published April 22nd, 2021. Ohio girl 13 charged with murder and fatal stabbing of another teen. Suspect used pocket knife to slash victim's neck during argument, both black. Where's BLM? Well, you can't really use that one for any kind of, you can't use it for anything, so there will be no Black Lives Matter on that case at all, unfortunately. Thank you to Bald Brad, who says, hi, ABL. I'd love to have you as a guest on my show. What is the best way to get in touch with you? Thank you for all you do. God bless, Bald Brad. The email is probably the best way. Contact@anthonyblogan.com. If I don't respond, you might want to try one more time. I get a lot of email. That's all. Thank you to Billy Bronson for the thumbs up. And thank you to Bonnie Fogg for the emoji. I could not see what that is, but I'm sure it's a great one. Oh, it says, thanks for being you. Well, thank you for being you. All right. We got calls on deck. You guys know what time it is. The number to call is 423. Hold on. No, not 423. I'm going to give you my real number. 434. There you go. 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And thank you to Texas Sweet Tea, who says, thank you for being the best on the internet's ABL. Well, thank you for being you and supporting. I couldn't do it without you. 1,000%. So again, 434-658-1220, not the 423. If you call that's not going to be good. All righty, let's go ahead and get everything rocking and rolling properly, and we'll be good to go. So let's do. All right. There we go. Nippin', what's happening?
What's up?
Ain't too much, man.
Yeah, so yeah, we are about, over here in the UK, we are about just under 3 weeks away from phase 4.
So what is phase 4?
It's the lockdown exit strategy. Like, remember, I don't know if it's the roadmap. Like there's 5 phases. Like, and they open things up gradually.
So once you get to stage 4, you're almost you're almost done with it.
Almost done. And then next month, June 21st, everything is back to, well, what you would basically call normal.
Okay.
And yeah, apparently Joy Behar is giving Tim Scott a lecture on how not to be racist.
Yeah, she was trying to tell him what racism is, like he doesn't know for some reason.
Yeah, look, I've looked at Joe Biden's cabinet. I have not seen many non-white people in it.
Yeah, it's not very many.
Trump had more non-white people in his cabinet, so and apparently he's the racist.
Right, which makes no sense at all.
And even his vice president spoke against him, like during a debate, saying I was that girl who he stopped the legislation from going through, and I couldn't go to school because of it.
Right, exactly.
The irony.
And then she put all that aside and said, "Okay, I'll be the vice president anyway."
Yeah, I think she's the one calling the shots.
Are we twins today, Nippin?
Oh yeah, same shirt. Yeah. I just forgot my hat.
I got you.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd go and get that real quick.
Okay.
Because before this, I was actually on a sports-related podcast. So it was the sports-related podcast, and then I quickly switched over to ABL.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, and now there's so much going on. We're almost out of lockdown. But we still have to wear masks, unfortunately.
Now, are you wearing masks outdoors?
Not outdoors, just inside buildings.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't like this. The sooner we get back to normal, the better.
That's right.
And the mad professor, again, educating, trying to indoctrinate people to think only one way. The left doesn't believe in freedom. They just don't. Look, I would be fine being educated by a liberal so long as they don't force me to be a liberal myself.
Right. I mean, that's my whole thing. You can have your own opinion, you can have your own beliefs, and that's totally fine, no problem. But the issue comes when you try to force that on me and make me think a thing that I don't want to believe in.
Same thing here in the UK. Like when it comes to racism and political parties, Boris Johnson is apparently called a racist, yet his cabinet has a lot of non-white people in it. Our equivalent of Homeland Security is a British Indian. A lot of our equivalent of the Treasury Secretary is also British of an Indian origin. So I don't get what people are on about, saying the right are racist.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. I think it's just a way for them to try and push their agenda forward and cancel the other people and their agenda, just using the word racist as a tool to get their point across.
Because the only person who I know I can think of in Joe Biden's cabinet who is not white is Kamala Harris. And I'm pretty sure that too was a token gesture.
You know what? The thing about it is Kamala Harris, somebody said that they got Kamala Harris in there because she could be a bridge to India because of the Indian heritage.
Look, man, I would say Nikki Haley is more Indian than Kamala Harris.
Oh yeah, of course she is, because she has Indian parents, so that makes more sense.
Exactly. And look, I honestly think, I've said this on a previous call-in with you, I honestly think it's Kamala Harris calling all the shots. I think that's what it is. She's calling all the shots. Biden is just sitting there.
It's not even Kamala Harris. I think it's just the administration, the staffers, the people around her, because I saw Kamala Harris on one of those shows answering questions, and she did not look very prepared. I think it's those that are behind the scenes that really call the shots. They tell Kamala Harris, okay, you go to this show, you say X, Y, and Z. Okay, Joe Biden, you go to this show, you say X, Y, and Z. And that's pretty much it. But I got a few more calls on the line, so I'll get to those right quick. So thank you for the calls always. Definitely appreciate you.
Nice catching up with you, ABL.
Always, man. Definitely.
Shall see you next Sunday.
All right. Sunday your time, Saturday my time. I got you.
Yeah. I'll see you then.
All right.
Peace.
All right. Thank you, Simple, for the call all the way from London. And we were twins today, so it is what it is. All right, we got a few more on the line. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. All right, shout out to all the Londoners in the building. Somebody says fellow Londoner. All right, got the overseas connection going on. 973, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
What's going on, my man? This is Enrique. I'm just calling to get this whole little myth about, so much violence in the hood, you know what I'm saying? I'm in New Jersey, you know what I'm saying? I'm right next to New York, probably 20 minutes from New York. And I've been hearing about a lot of violence in the inner cities and violence in the hood, all this crazy stuff. Bruh, ain't no super crazy violence going on in the hood and people shooting. The people that y'all trying to talk about, those are hood people. Those are gang members. Those are street people.
Yes.
That's like 1%. Like 1% of the hood. If the hood was all that, and everybody was on the welfare, and everybody was gang banging and shooting up stuff. I mean, hold on. I do have to say there are some areas in the hood where it do get crazy.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie about that. Are some areas in the hood that do get crazy. But majority of the hood, people be chilling and going to work and stuff. Y'all talking about gang members make it bad, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I can't agree with them, you know what I'm saying? But I got family that's in gangs and stuff, and I used to be a wannabe before I got my mind right. I wanted to be in a gang, and I got my mind right. You know what I'm saying? And I still lost some family to gang violence and stuff like that. But things happen. You know what I'm saying? White people got all that crazy stuff in they little communities, little trailer parks and stuff like that. They got all these serial killers and active shooters going around and shooting stuff in the country and stuff. So don't be talking bad about the inner city and all this so-called gang violence. And a person going out killing another person in a gang is not the same as an active shooter going into a grocery store or like the mall and shooting up a bunch of kids and women and stuff. These niggas, these people, these brothers know what they doing. These brothers know who they going after. They're going after other gang members who done killed their friends.
All right. So all right, wait a minute. Hold on. So you see the little girl that got killed at the McDonald's the other day? Was she a gang member? Yeah. 7-year-old girl? How about a little baby, the 3-month-old baby? Was he a gang member or nah? I'm trying to figure out what you're saying, and then you're talking about you're saying wait. I'm gonna just talk for a minute. I'm gonna talk for a minute, and then you can respond. I'm gonna talk for a minute. Let you go for a while, sir. You went for about 3 minutes. I let you talk. Let you get it all out. I'm gonna respond. So you got little kids getting killed. They're not gang members. You got grandmas getting killed. You got people going to work getting killed. People on the highway in the Atlantic getting shot, carjacked, shot. All of that's going on. They killed the Pakistani man when he was working for Uber Eats. Little girls, 13 and 15-year-old little girls that killed him. Was that gang violence? I mean, at a certain point, we got to realize what's happening and then look at the actual numbers. You say you lost members of your family due to gang violence. Is that normal to have that happen? Is that normal among whites to have people get shot and killed by gang violence? That's not normal. And then before you move on, look at numbers. We are 13% of the population as black folks in America. I assume you black. 13% of the population, yet we are 48% of all murder victims in the United States. 48% of all. That includes black, white, everybody. 48% of all murder victims and 52% of all the murderers, of all the killers. So there's a clear problem there that can't be ignored. So what's your response to that?
My response to certain numbers so you're going by FBI statistics or
CDC, because like check this out though. The key number there is not even those that are the killers, it's the murder victims. We all know each race kills each race at a very high rate because you pretty much kill who you know in their proximity, right? Whites kill whites, blacks kill blacks, right?
Yeah.
So you said, yeah. So the CDC looks at death. They don't look at who did it or how. They look at, okay, somebody was killed. 48% of those that are killed in America are black. And you just said that it's blacks that kill blacks, whites that kill whites. So how is it that we 13% of the population in America, but yet account for 48% of all the murder victims, those that die, those that get killed at the hands of somebody else? Is because we're doing it at a very high rate, higher than anybody else, right? Is it right or wrong?
Those numbers that you just gave me, I don't want to say that they're cooked up to be. I don't want to just say that they're cooked up. I don't want to completely dismiss them because, like, I'm being honest. Like, I done been in the hood. I done seen people get shot. I done seen a man with his head blown off on his porch. I done seen this stuff. So it happens. It happens. But crime happens everywhere.
Okay, but let's stay focused. Let's stay focused, sir. Let's stay focused though. We already established that whites kill whites, blacks kill blacks. We already said that part, so we agree on that. So when you say crime happens everywhere, we agree on that.
13%. 13% of the population is committing 48% of the murders.
Listen to what I'm saying. You didn't hear me. You didn't quite hear it. 13% of the population account for 48% of the murder victims, those that get killed by somebody. Murder victims.
Okay.
So how was that happening? You said to me that blacks kill blacks and whites kill whites. You said that. So how was that happening? How are we 13% of the population and at the same time 48% of the victims if we're not having a very high murder rate among each other? How was that possible when you said we kill each other and whites kill each other?
Man,
you said it, numbers, not me.
Those numbers, 48% of the people, black people. I just can't fathom that 48% of the murder victims. Black, come on now.
Look it up. CDC. See, the thing about it is, we're not
going into white neighborhoods like that. Like, do you see black people traveling into white neighborhoods and they commit crimes amongst themselves?
I said that. I said that. We're saying the same thing. What are you saying that's different?
Yeah. All I'm saying is different is I don't believe in those custom numbers where they're saying that all the black men are committing all these crimes and killing all these. We just seen the guy that was jogging in Georgia, 2 white guys killed him. George Floyd, a white man killed him. Like, what are you talking about? The white woman who, it's a taser, and then shoots the black Mexican boy. Like, come on, bro. Like, there's white people killing black people, unarmed black people at that. I'm not gonna defend the whole girl with a knife thing, like, you know what I'm saying? Even though he could have pulled a taser real quick, the trained officer, you got to learn how to, do the quick movement. But whatever, you know what I'm saying? She had a knife, she was gonna stab at a black woman. It is what it is. I just don't like how people are coming at the black community saying that all these crimes coming at the black community. That's a goddamn lie. I'm in the hood right now. Ain't no gunshot. I thought my motherfucker went. I don't want to curse. I went in my window right now. Ain't nobody shooting nobody. No guns. Ain't no drugs on the corner. No none of that. So y'all need to stop saying, "Oh, the black community is a bunch of thugs out walking around with grills in their mouth and shit." Man, these black people doing what they gotta do out here. These black people working hard and getting it done. Now the gang members is different. The gang members, they hard to talk to. But the reasonable black people out here, yeah, they hood, but you can talk to them. You ain't talking to the gang members. You know what I'm saying? And plus, the white community has their own problems. They got the people on the right who, how are y'all trying to bring people over to be conservative when y'all don't even address the racist white people y'all have over there? Address those racist white people, and then maybe we will think about becoming more conservative in the black community. Y'all got white people saying all this crazy stuff about black people. Jump on their ass. Stop jumping on the black people who trying to come up. What's up with that? And then, listen.
Okay, you gotta be kind of quick because we got a little bit of time left. So wrap it up right quick for me, please.
Okay. All I'm saying is the black community is not that bad. You know what I'm saying? Every community has their faults. People do what they do and they do what they can. Just, everybody deserves a fair shot. I'm not saying that, nobody's trying to keep nobody down, even though there are some things in the system, but, everybody deserves a fair shot, and you cannot just slam one community because of a small percentage of people are doing some crazy stuff. Do I slam all white people because of racist white people? No, but there are white people that are racist. So, just don't judge everybody in the same trope. That's
all right. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Appreciate you, brother. You already know. Have a good one.
Same to you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Hey, man, I'm glad that you got people that have the courage to come on and call the show because not everybody has that courage. So shout out to him for calling the show. But yeah, see, the CDC, that's the argument that I always win. I can't lose, because people that kind of deny the crime statistics, they want to say, oh, whites kill each other too, blacks kill each other, everybody kills each other. It's proximity. All right, well, check it out. Since you said that blacks kill blacks and whites kill whites and Asians kill Asians and Hispanics kill Hispanics at a higher rate than anybody else would kill them because, you kill about somebody that you know or you're close to, okay, cool. Well, how does 13% of the population account for 48 on the low end, probably higher than that, 48% of the murder victims? How does that happen if we're not doing it? Because you said that blacks kill blacks and whites kill whites, right? Huh? So explain it, and then they get stuck. So I only got to talk about FBI and who's getting arrested and all this and that. I use an argument against them. I use their argument. I use things they agree with to form my own argument. So if you're looking for a tactic to use in a debate, get them to agree with your point first before you even say the point. And then they can't disagree with it after they agree with it. So at that point, it feeds itself that way. All right. So the number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's get to the next one here. Let's go 301. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
My name's John. I was wondering. I was watching your video about where was her family when she needed them. Do you know if anyone's actually identified where the knife came from?
No, I've not heard where the knife came from, so I don't know that one.
Oh. Okay. I was just wondering. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for the call.
Yep.
All right. So let's look at the CDC chart right here. CDC.gov. This is not a criminal website. This is just Center for Disease Control. This is about health, and this is just about numbers, how people die and disease and stuff like that. It's not about, little OG Pookie kill little man Tyrone down the street. This ain't about that. This is about how somebody dies, talking about kidney disease, diabetes, things of that nature. Now let's look at non-Hispanic black males by age group. Oh, I have a whole, I have bookmarks and folders, and I got a whole list of things like this. So I can pull it up instantly like that. So let's check it out. It's kind of small to see, but this is a non-Hispanic black male by age group. The leading cause of death, number 1, homicide for age 1 to 44. From 1 to 44, the number 1 cause of death for non-Hispanic black males is homicide. Homicide, that's the number 1 cause of death. Now, let me see if I can find non-Hispanic white males, and then you can see what goes on there. Let me see. Non-Hispanic, hold on. Let me find non-Hispanic white. I know I have that somewhere too. I know I looked this up before. All right, it's right there. Perfect. Now, the same thing. Non-Hispanic white, leading cause of death. 1 to 44, unintentional injuries. Accident. Number 2, suicide. Number 3, cancer, heart disease. From 1 to 19 is cancer. 20 to 44 is heart disease. Number 4 is homicide, 5.2%. And from 20 to 44 is cancer at 6.3%. Number 5 for 1 to 19 is birth defects at 3.8% and homicides at 2.8%. Okay, so let's go back. 1 to 19 for black males, age 1 to for number 1, age 1 to 19 for black males, homicide 35.3%. 20 to 44, homicide 26.7%. Almost 28% and 35% homicide. But for white males and the 1 to 19 age group, homicide is 5.2%. From 20 to 44 is 2.8%. Don't you see your problem? But when I say it, somehow that's wrong, and I just don't understand. The numbers are right there, the black and white. Numbers don't lie. This ain't got nothing to do with who did it or how they did it, or this is just how you die. Birth defects, chronic liver disease, heart disease, flu, diabetes, stroke. That's what it says. So how do you get accidents be number 1 for white males, but homicide be number 1 for black males? How does that happen? If the premise of whites kill whites and blacks kill blacks is true, if we don't commit the homicide at a very high rate, how is that possible? But I digress. Let's get to the next call. 615 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Flu, diabetes, stroke.
Hello.
Yeah, 615. Who am I speaking to?
This is Spencer. Am I live?
You're live on the air.
Oh, sorry, sir. My comment. My question. I was just wanting to know how. See, I'm a Republican and I have a lot of Democratic friends, and I would just like to ask you what you would think, and it would be a way for us to kind of talk about different ideas without it going into an argument.
That's a question I get all the time, and it's kind of hard because if you have friends or anybody that you know that is Democrat and they're pretty much, dead set in their beliefs, it's kind of hard to convince them otherwise or to have a conversation where they're not going to agree. So if you want to do that, be ready for our argument, because that's probably what it's going to devolve into. If someone's open-minded and they're a Democrat, then you could talk to them because they're not just going to automatically dismiss you. But if they're not open-minded, then they're just not going to try to hear you. If you're trying to convince somebody, what I would do is kind of have like a slow process. Just put little things out there without being confrontational. Put little things out there. Just say certain stuff. Talk about, Biden, man, got the India ban. What's going on with that? And leave it there. Don't even talk about it. Don't directly engage, because that's like trying to fight somebody. But put little things out there and have them hear it and just leave it alone. And maybe on their own time, they'll come to a realization if they want to. But if they don't want to, they're not going to. And trying to have a direct conversation is like trying to fight, and they don't want to do anything else other than fight. They're not trying to hear the actual words you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it. Right. Yeah. If somebody's not open, if they're not open minded, then I would say I would kind of forget it. Just move on. 301. You're allowed who am I speaking to?
Yeah, my name is Ben Bussey, Tacoma Park, Maryland. The gentleman who had called in about the crime rate. I would challenge him to look at shows like programs like the First 48 and a lot of the Justice TV shows, because it is absolutely amazing the amount of, and if we're going beyond gangbangers, because it's just not the gangbangers in the black community that are killing one another. It's a lot of different type of black people that are committing a tremendous amount of homicides. And it's my second point here about the virus. I caught the virus back in January, by January 23rd, and I was down real hard for about 2 weeks. But I got over it, and I wanted to schedule. I'm a veteran, so I went to the VA. I had an appointment March 19th, and I got. And a lot of people don't ask for the blood test because it's good to get the blood test, because the blood test tests for antibodies. So I told my doctor, he kept pressing me about taking the vaccine. So I knew about the blood test. I said I want the blood test. Once I told him that I wanted the blood test, he stopped with the vaccine. So I took my blood test it's a normal blood test, but it's a specific blood test you got to get there. They'll test it but you got to let the doctor know you want it, because by law you can ask for it. Anybody can get it. Now I took the test about 8 in the morning. Now 11:54, my doctor calls me. He said that I tested positive for the antibodies. That means that back when I got when I was sick in January, I did have the virus, but my antibodies and killed the virus, because here's the unique thing about this. I don't have the virus, but I do have the antibodies. And when I downloaded my paper for my test results, and it's something on the bottom of the paper, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the media or in America don't know this. And the media has been keeping a lid on it because it's labeled as interpretation. I just read the top part of it. And this test I'm referring to the antibody test, the SARS-CoV. They call it the SARS-CoV-2 anti-N-protein test. And it says this test is an immunoassay for the vitro qualitative detection for the antibodies of the SARS-CoV-2 in human serum and plasma. Now, here's what's interesting, and this is what a lot of people don't know. It is offered under an emergency use authorization from the FDA. And so that means that a lot of people need to go and see if they at least have the antibodies. And so that's just the information I just wanted to kick out, man. And hopefully it'll help people and give them more insight to what's being kept from us. And thank you a lot for your program. I do learn a lot, and it's very inspiring. Have a good night.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Okay, now.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And shout out to my man, Brandon Tatum in the building, Officer Tatum. I appreciate you coming in, boss. If you ain't subscribed to Brandon Tatum, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and subscribe to Brandon Tatum right now. If you're not, which everybody in here should be already. So shout out to him. And thank you for the super chat, man. He says, love the hat, 1776. All right, you already know what it is, man. Got to do it. Got to do it. All right. All righty, caller. Greetings.
It's Laura DeGoddess from Here's What I Heard. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, no problem. What's happening?
Not too much other than what you've been talking about. First thing I wanted to let you know was I featured you in my video last week. I did a big shout out to a bunch of indie commentators and newscasters and people that I admire and that inspire me. So I thought you'd like to know that. I wrote to you about it, but I know how busy you are. You probably missed the email.
Yes.
Secondly, as an old rocker chick, I was literally reminded of a line in a Frank Zappa song he wrote during the Watts riots when I heard about Joy Behar's attack on Tim Scott. The line was, I'm not black, but there's whole lots of times when I wish I wasn't white. And the reason why that came to mind was because of the fact that I'm hating the fact that folks like her are being portrayed as representatives of folks like me.
Yeah.
And actually, in that case, I'm also starting to think that that's the reason why a lot of people automatically assume white people are racist.
Yeah. I mean, but you got Joy Behar out there, and there's not a whole lot of kickback from other people in the mainstream media. That's just like normal. It's like, well, how do you really fight against that?
Yeah, and I mean, like, what's more racist than someone like her, who has definitely done blackface, and I don't care if Whoopi gives her a pass, trying to put a black man essentially in his place.
Pretty much.
I mean, shame on these elitist freaks.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's crazy, but I'm not surprised. I figured they would do something like that. But you know, the thing is, they do it selectively. They take that mask off when they really want to get down and, tell the truth about how they feel when it comes to a conservative. When it comes to a liberal, they put the mask back on and it's all good, because Kamala Harris said the same thing. And I think Jim Clyburn said the same thing as well about America not being a racist country. And she ain't say a word about them. But when it came to the conservative, that's a threat, that's a problem, we got to attack him. I'm fully masked off for that one. That's kind of how that goes.
Well, how actually would you respond if someone said that to your face?
I would laugh. Like, to me, stuff like that, I find humor in sometimes dark places. So I would laugh. I would be like, all right, you tell me about racism, Miss White Lady. Explain to me what I don't know about what's going on. And then you have a conversation. Like, to me, I don't really get triggered. I kind of find it funny.
Well, she actually supposedly represents supposedly they portray her as representing people like me, and I don't appreciate that. I really don't.
I hear you.
Personally, I call people like her, she's reading a script. She's a high-paid slave.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I know that actually from experience being in show business and stuff like that. Once you sign those contracts to those companies, they own you.
Oh, yeah. You don't really have much autonomy. You do whatever they say. It's like, okay, all right, Joe, today we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. Here's your script. Read that and don't do anything else. If you do something else, you're going to get fired. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they lose a lot of their, I think they have a lot of power as far as that goes, but they'll lose a lot of money and stuff like that too. Plus, there's also clauses in these contracts that these people literally have to pay them back if they get canceled.
Right.
So they would be left on the streets at that point. One other thing, this is a conversation you and I had a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, about the transgender athletes.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of Caitlyn Jenner?
I saw it, and I was proud of Big Bruce saying, hey, look, I think it's unfair that you're going to have the transgender, biological males compete with the girls. It's just unfair. And it's all about fairness. So that's it. So I was like, yeah,
well,
there we go.
I look at it this way. If anybody would know, it would be her.
That's right. You're talking about the Wheaties box. Yeah, definitely.
Also, that guy that called from the hood earlier as well, he kind of contradicted himself a little bit. And oh my God, the things he's seen. My mom was a dispatcher for the Miami Police Department. I never saw anything like what he talked about.
Yeah, like he talked about how much violence and whatnot that there was. He lost family members due to the violence and everything else. Then he says, oh, there's no violence. It's like, well, you just said there was, so which one is it?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what? So, well, I was going to say, I think a lot of his problem, as far as the way that the hoods and things like that are portrayed, he needs to talk to the media.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because
they're the ones that are, I never see anything other than that in any of the media. In fact, even the movies and the TV and all that stuff now.
Right.
So, anyway, thank you for allowing me to get my 2 cents in there, and please go check out my video. Like I said, I highlighted you, and you're in good company. You're with Mark Dice and Gothics and Salty Cracker and what is his name? The leftist guy, the comedian, Jimmy Dore.
Jimmy Dore, yeah.
So enjoy. Oh, and if you don't mind giving me a shout out, I appreciate it.
Okay, so your channel is Here's What I Heard. That's right?
That's correct.
Okay, so you check her out at Here's What I Heard on the YouTubes. All righty. Thank you for the call.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you so much. You have a great night.
Same to you now. All right. So yeah, shout out to her and shout out to Big Bruce. Hey, matter of fact, let me see if I can find that clip right quick. You know what? It's to the point now where I vote for Bruce Jenner. If I was in California and it's between him or her and Gavin Newsom, I'm voting. Yo, the Bruce is loose. Let's get it. Let's get it. I don't care nothing about him feeling however he wants to feel. All right, check it out, man. You can put your dress on or whatever. That's cool, but check it out. I need my taxes lower. I need the illegal aliens up out of here. I need the wall up. So what's up? You with it or not? How about we don't have drag queen story time? How about we don't have biological males compete against biological girls? How about that? And if you with it, you with it. I can't play it because it's a TMZ clip. They're going to strike. TMZ sucks. Anyway, I digress. But my voice impersonation was correct. I think it's just unfair. I think that biological boys should compete with biological girls, and that's the way that it should be. That voice, sir, you need to go and get that tightened up. If you're going to be convincing, I need somebody that, but anyway. Okay. All righty, we have Radical Moderate.
Hey, brother, what's up, man?
Ain't too much, man. What's going on?
Nothing. I just wanted to ask, I didn't catch most of your show. Sorry about that. But did you get any information regarding who was the dude that was kicking the other chick in the head?
I don't know that yet. I think it was the father because when they had the when they had the press conference today, one of the reporters asked, "Hey, were you out there with the fight?" Because the dad was right there at the press conference, and then the lawyer stepped in and said, "Well, you can't answer that." And then the reporter asked the lawyer, "Was he out there?" And she said, "Oh, we'll tell you that a little bit later." So by the way she was answering and being defensive, I'm like, it was probably him that did that, the father.
Right. Yeah, that whole thing is really strange because the one girl that was attacked said, to the officers, this man should not be here. So, I mean, I think there's more to that story. You know what I mean? Why were they there? If that was their father and the grandmother, why were they there to begin with? And why was she locking them out of the house? You know what I mean? Now, granted, okay, that officer did nothing wrong. The chick was trying to stab that girl. You know what I mean?
Yes.
She would have killed him, But I'm just saying. Anyway, if you don't mind me ranting a little bit, I just got to say, I refuse to believe that Michaela represents young black women. I refuse to believe that, George Floyd represents black men. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, I refuse to believe that. And I refuse to believe, that any, okay, you're a G-rated room, any jerk that's a white dude that misbehaves, it represents all white people. And this is the thing that the Democrats are trying to do to us. You know what I mean? They're trying to separate us that our worst behavior or someone that behaves the most worst is what represents us all. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely, 100%.
So that's all I want to say, brother. So, hey, you guys keep up the good work. I can support you, and God bless you and everything you do, brother.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, I say, judge everybody based on who they are versus trying to have one random nut job white dude represent all white dudes and one guy that's on drugs represent all black dudes. I don't like to do drugs. I'm not into that lifestyle at all. I'm not trying to stab nobody with no knife. You see what I'm saying? Judge everybody based on what they do. Now, there's certain group patterns I guess you could look at, but you can't judge an individual based on what you think about them. That's called being prejudiced. You can do that to a certain extent if you see somebody and they look a certain way. Like if you see somebody with all black on in Seattle and they look kind of menacing in their face, you could judge them based on that because people that have all black on and look menacing in Seattle might be part of Antifa. But let's just do things that makes sense rather than just kind of being weird. All right, let's go to the next one. 215, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, ABL.
Yes, who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Miles Davis. All right, I have you off a speaker. How you doing, sir?
Everything's all right, man. Can't complain about yourself.
Good. Hey, I wanted to refer real quick. The guy that was talking about the hood and all that stuff, I wanted to just say something real quick. I wanted to add to that. It's just like, number one, every hood is different. Not every location is this. I mean, I kind of agree with what he said, but then it's like, at the same time, every hood is different. Every hood ain't the same, you know? Like, he was saying a lot. He was just going on and on. And, like, this stuff happens in every community. And then, first of all, I just want to say this. The black community, okay, there's violence that go on there. There's tons more violence that goes on in Venezuela, Mexico, the Mexican drug cartels, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just like I guess he just didn't like the fact that the media, it was just trying to say the black community is out of control and all that stuff. It's like, no, they're just saying that there's a lot more crime that goes on. But like he said, most of that crime is gang violence and all that stuff.
Not for real. I mean, that's not really true, because like you said, all hoods are different. Gangs not even necessarily a thing everywhere. Like this whole Bloods and Crips and other gangs, that kind of, a lot of that is new. The violence that goes on is over a lot of different things, because you got little kids getting killed. You got a lot of home invasions, robberies, crimes against people for money, for respect, just because. It could be over anything. It could be over a tweet, especially nowadays. Like, people talking about gang violence and they use it as a catch-all term. Meanwhile, you could have a guy that says he's gang affiliated that would kill somebody else because of an Instagram post. And I'm being serious. These young boys, 21 years old, no brains at all, not even killing for anything else other than the teardrop under their eye. Don't really care about money for real. Just killing just because, just stupid stuff. Not even really gang affiliated. Just out here doing crazy things. No parental guidance, supervision, or nothing. It's a mess. So when somebody says the black community is out of control, well, to a certain extent, they're correct, depending upon where you are. Not the entire community, obviously, but in a lot of places, it's out of control. You go to certain parts of certain cities in America, it's a war zone. Nobody wants to go there.
Exactly. Like, I live an hour away from Philadelphia. It's just every single day somebody's getting shot, multiple people getting shot, killed. It's every single day. And back to what you said, when those gang members that accidentally gunned down that little girl, it's like, well, they weren't gang members. They were just people who were trying to kill somebody else, but they wound up killing the little girl. And they shot the person who was looking for, but the person lived.
Yeah.
And it's like, and in Philly, you know what the crazy thing is? I said this the other day. I put the post up saying, "Where's Black Lives Matter?" Because at the end of the day, I already know where they are. But for all the people who stuck up for Black Lives Matter, okay, well, the funeral homes, there's people in Philadelphia, they're going through struggles because after their loved ones got killed, now it's expensive because the funeral homes are charging between $2,000 and $20,000 just to bury their loved ones and hold a funeral, and they're struggling. So they got to ask the city for help to help pay off some of the funeral costs and all that stuff, and to get their loved ones buried and cremated and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, where's Black Lives Matter? They could have helped these black folks out in their time of need, but they don't really care about black folks.
Right. Nah, they don't really care nothing about that. That's not even really important to them.
No, it's not. And because I knew it back in 2016 when I first saw them holding up those dumb signs, Black Lives Matter. And the first thought that came to my head was, if y'all not trying to stop all the black on black crime that goes on out here, then y'all don't have my respect, and y'all never will. That's what I thought to myself. And yep, as I saw the black on black crime was still going on, so I was like, nope, I'm not with this Black Lives Matter stuff. Because I could tell back in 2016, it was just, I didn't take it seriously. And in 2020, they come back and they're talking about defunding the police. We got to protect our community from the police. And back to what that college professor said, I wouldn't call the police. I could tell she didn't really mean that. She didn't want to get proven wrong. I could tell by the look in her eyes. She just like, nope. She just didn't want to talk about it no more.
Right, exactly. She was lying. That was a clear lie.
Oh yeah, I could tell she was lying. Her eyes she just wanted to face her eyes down. And one more point I wanted to get on. I don't want to take up all your time, but that guy that called a few shows that BLM dude that called talking about cocaine, that if another drug dealer steals another drug dealer's cocaine, they should handle it with the police. I mean, what reality does he live in? He must be on drugs himself. I feel like he was on drugs.
Yeah, that was a crazy thing.
Like
I was trying to figure out what he was saying. It's like, you want the police to interfere? That makes no sense at all. And in no way does that make any sense. It was crazy.
Exactly. And if he came around our neighborhood and said that something crazy like that and tried to be a problem solver, they would have took advantage of him, because that's not how the streets work. I've never been on the streets, but obviously they don't call the cops when the crap gets stolen. You can't get the cops involved in your world when you live in that kind of lifestyle. He doesn't know nothing. He doesn't know nothing. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't mean to come at him, but it's just, who says something crazy like that?
Yeah, it's crazy for sure.
Exactly. I was just like, you know what, that dude, at least watch a few documentaries. Not even read a book. Just watch some documentaries and read a book on top of that.
Right.
Holy crap. That was amazing. But and I'll say this last thing. Public schools are going downhill. I've noticed that over the years. Most kids I talk to who are well educated, they go to private schools and all, charter schools.
Right out, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a good one, ABL.
Same to you. All righty. Let's get to some more here. The number to call, 434-658-1220. 860, you know, line, who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony and Sonia. How are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain. How about yourself?
All right. I wanted to thank you for streaming the congressional meeting thingy with Biden, because I don't think I would have been able to watch it otherwise. It was my first one, so I wanted to ask you, because I had nothing to compare it to. When Trump did his speeches in front of both sides, did the Democrats ever clap for him?
I don't think I ever saw them clap.
Did the Republicans clap for Biden? Because I wasn't watching when I was listening to your stream.
Now, I think I may have seen a couple here and there, but for the most part, no.
Interesting. It was so weird to me because he won, right? And why did it feel campaign trailish, like he was still trying to win people over with empty promises about what he's going to do?
Because people don't really respect him in the office, like, and they know that. It's kind of like, okay, you're here, but we don't really want you. So he's just they're still trying to convince people that he is a good choice.
His speech reminded me of how I used to feel before all of this came, when all this stuff happened, because I would have rather watched grass grow. I see people were falling asleep in there, and I thought, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's like he was still pandering.
Yeah, for sure.
Talking about the equal equality and whatever. But the biggest thing was that he said that they were going to end cancer again.
That was a crazy thing to say, because it's like, how can you actually do that? Like, how are you going to say you're going to end cancer? That's like saying you're going to actually change the weather. How are you going to do that?
He said it's within our power to do it.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll see how that works. We'll see how that goes.
And then when you hear the media, you know, the left-wing media covering it and how they always prop everything up, Larry Elder calls George Stephanopoulos Clintonopolis, because I noticed that Biden was whispering a lot or talking very low. So the way that George referenced it was that he was intimate at times.
Wow. I mean, these people are crazy.
Was strange.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they'll do anything to protect Joe Biden.
Like if we didn't see what we've seen with our own eyes. And then the reward was listening to, you know, Tim Scott at the end, because I didn't know that rebuttals come after that. And everything he said was on point and made perfect sense. And, of course, that's why he was criticized. And the other Joy, which is funny because she also has the same name and they're both joyless, the Reed woman, she said that she was embarrassed by him, or that she felt embarrassed for him. Those are her words.
Right. I mean,
for Tim Scott.
Of course, because, I mean, whatever he says is wrong, and she's going to be embarrassed because he is a conservative and he's black. That's the only reason. I mean, like I was saying about Joy Behar, she wanted to attack Tim Scott over what he said. Although Kamala Harris said the exact same thing, and so did Jim Clyburn, but she didn't attack them. It's just pure politics. They don't really care.
She should be embarrassed about the fact that she said out loud that she wears 2 masks while jogging.
I mean, I find it hard to believe. How are you going to wear 2 masks while you're jogging? How can you breathe? You're going to pass out.
No, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And then I'll leave you with this, the Ma'Khia girl, the foster kid. You know, that woman that came out at first, I thought was a foster mom to begin with, but I see that that's her biological mom, the one that said she was a, pro-peace and, I don't know, promoted peace was her words. You're right what you said about all of the family being there. Where were they when she needed them? And that she had as many cases as she's been alive, in juvenile court. You said 14 and the girl's only 16. I think there's something up with that love story because there's no way. The mom does not look like she's on drugs or anything like that. She looks alive and well, right? Seemingly normal. So if her kid is not with her, it means that the state intervened. I would think they took the girl away, and we don't know why. So we have to ignore the obvious. With that lawyer there, they didn't answer all the important questions.
Exactly. It's like, what's the point of her being there if you're not going to answer the important questions? They're asking, hey, how did she get in foster care? Well, we can't talk about that. Hey, what was the dad dared to fight? Well, we can't talk about that. So what can you talk about? Oh, she's
literally saying we'll make up the story as we go along.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Whatever is
I think
convenient.
they want to try to blame the foster family. Maybe that's a route for suing. Who knows? And then the last thing I thought of, I think they have a weak case because I did not see Crump.
Yeah, because if Crump's in town, you already know it's going to be some ducats delivered, but he wasn't there, so that might not be the case for him to really get involved with.
Yep, that's what I think too. All right, well that's all. Thanks, Anthony. Love your show. Have a good one.
All right, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right. Yeah. If Ben Crump's there, you know that he smells blood in the water, but he wasn't there, so you know that he thinks that this might not be the case to be involved with. For sure. All right. Let's do 562. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Bald Brad from the Bald Brad Show. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. How about yourself?
I'm just living in the most leftist state in the union here, Southern California. So, we're hanging on. Yeah, so it's interesting because that Cypress College story is in the news, and it's something that I covered as well. And I actually went to Cypress College. I only live about 15 minutes from that community college. And I got to say, I don't recall any of my professors acting that way at my time going to that college. And I went to Long Beach State and then USC, and I'm also a high school teacher. I teach mathematics. So it doesn't surprise me, though, that I'm hearing those types of things from teachers because I hear that as a high school mathematics teacher already.
Wow. So, I mean, like, what is that? Is it like the younger educators that are talking like that? The older ones? Like, is there a certain demographic of educators that is speaking this way, or is it across the board?
It's across the board. So I've done both public and private. And what I've heard from students is, they'll do stuff in like government class of learn about communism, socialism, capitalism, stuff like that, all the isms. And he'll just kind of create small talk, here and there while they're working on stuff, because sometimes, they're done with their assignment. So they'll hop into other subjects and try to get it done real quick before their next class. And you just ask them, say, hey, what's you guys learn the differences between which ones are good and which ones are at least bad. And there's actual teachers that will say socialism is straight up good. And they're pushing that. And it's it's truly mind blowing to me. Again, I teach mathematics. So the only time that really politics comes up is if I'm teaching consumer math, and there's a little bit of politics that come up in my statistics course, but it's definitely being pushed in some way, shape, or form within the school system.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking about math, I heard that they're going to eliminate some of the higher, some of the more difficult, I guess you would say, math courses in high school in Virginia. Have you heard about that? Like, they're going to totally eliminate it. Yeah. So what we think about that?
Well, what's funny? I was actually talking to my coworkers about it. I think it came out a few days ago. I plan on talking about it on Monday's show. It's crazy to me because this whole idea of that you're going to help fix the problem, and that that higher education's kind of leaving out the minority student, but it's not about race. I mean, the fact that they're trying to bring in race within mathematics, I mean, the whole idea that 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4 anymore, because if you have a minority student or a person of color that doesn't give the answer, but you have to supply other answers like 5, 6, 7, or 8, just so you can cater to that student. So even though they got it technically wrong, you have to still count it as correct is just absolutely mind blowing to me. And I'm not going to do that as a math teacher, especially when it comes down to, we have specific answers. So the fact that they're trying to do it with higher mathematics is only going to hurt the problem rather than fixing it. And especially with this COVID stuff going on and what's happening in the school system, I mean, we're going to see a massive problem here. That's probably going to last at least 10 years with the amount of, lack of mathematical skills that are being brought in the classroom this past year.
Well, absolutely, because you got to be able to cultivate those skills. You can't just eliminate it and then expect to have students that are successful, because if it's not in high school, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, or even before that, what are they going to do when they get to college? They're going to be remedial. That's going to be a serious problem.
And that's the issue that we're seeing I think this came out of, I'm in California, so the CSU system, I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe they're done away with the entrance exam for mathematics because they're having a massive issue where students are passing into remedial math. And so they're having to take these prerequisites and they're not even passing those. And so they're trying to basically have students just elect to go and say, I'm just going to spitball, say mathematics 100, and they're not succeeding. And you're also seeing that in the affirmative action within schools where just, you have people of color that are going into the STEM fields, but they're not even meeting the minimum qualifications, and then they're having to switch majors, but then they're just going to blame it on racism, which to me is just absolutely mind-blowing because it has nothing to do with race. I mean, I talk about this all the time on the show. I don't get why Democrats are so all about race, but us conservatives, we don't care about how much melanin you can produce or not produce. It has nothing to do with your intellect. And the fact that the Democrats are constantly trying to push us into the STEM fields is truly mind-blowing to me.
Right. Absolutely.
And, and it's not just, I have a buddy that works for the sheriff's department down here, and just the whole aspect of what's going on with the police departments and the whole George Floyd Act that might be pushed through. He's saying, and I keep talking about it, he's saying that you're going to see a mass exodus of police officers if this stuff gets pushed through. And, that's coming behind the scenes on a little bit of conversation. But what's your take on that?
Oh, it's going to happen, and it's already happening right now. I think they said in New York City, there was a 75% increase year on year in retirements and people resigning from the police department in New York. So this is before any kind of federal action is taking place. So if they do that and it makes more people resign, you're going to see the already existing trend like New York City, Minneapolis, Seattle. You're going to see that trend go all over the United States. And then places where it already was happening is going to increase. It's going to be a problem. And then somebody said, as a matter of fact, somebody said it to me, and I also read, it was an article from Charlie Kirk. He was saying, well, this whole thing could be a way to bring in the federals, because if there's no police there, then what are you going to do? Or you got to bring in the military, you got to bring in federal agents to pick up the slack. Now you're going to have, boots marching down the street as your everyday force. And I don't think we really want that. I think police will be better. And those that wanted to have the police defunded will be crying when you have the federales marching down the street instead.
Yeah, it's only going to exacerbate the issue. And it's so funny about speaking about creating more issues. In Southern California, I heard you talking to another caller about Caitlyn Jenner, good old Bruce.
Big Bruce.
And I heard you talk about lower taxes. And again, I was, before I actually became a math teacher, I was actually a CPA for 10 years. And I switched careers just because I lost all my hair, hence bald Brad. Stressful job, love it, still do people's taxes on the side. But I'll tell you what, I don't know where you're from. I think, are you on the East Coast?
Yeah, I'm from Virginia originally.
Okay. So I lived about a year and a half in Accokeek, Maryland. So I'm familiar a little bit with the DMV area. But out here, it's gotten bad, man. I mean, I grew up here my entire life. I'm 32 now. And taxes are through the roof. They're talking about, we already have the $15 minimum wage pretty much. But, I mean, we need somebody in here that's going to create control, because it's nuts out here. I mean, the fact that you're vaccinated, you still got to wear a mask. The fact that taxes are through the roof, housing's through the roof. LA is one of the most disgusting areas. I mean, you can actually smell the odor in some places of just human feces.
It's terrible. Yeah, and I was in LA like last year. I didn't like it. I didn't like what I saw. It wasn't really too many people, rude people. It was like New York in the 70s and 80s. I just didn't like it.
That's a perfect analogy. You'll go down to you don't even have to hit downtown LA to see the camps that are going on. I mean, it's actually I'm in Orange County here, so I'm about 30 miles south of LA, and full encampments. They'll have full like dressers, full bedding, like full on just furniture sets just out in the middle of the street, and nobody's regulating this stuff, and it's just going absolutely control. And you got Newsom that doesn't know how to run things, and my hope is it gets recalled because, like I said, this place is I ask myself, why do I live here every single week?
Right, I heard you, man. Well, hey, I got a few more calls on the line to get to. I'm sorry, but I got a few more calls on the line to get to. So thank you for the call, man.
Hey,
Definitely
thank you
appreciate
so much. God bless, and I'll toss you another email. Try to get you on the show. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.
All right, man. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to Bald Bread. That's his name. That's his show, Bald Bread Show. And shout out to him. Yeah, California. When I was in LA, now to be fair, it had been kind of like raining and it was kind of cold for a lot of the time I was there. This is like in March of last year, right when the whole panorama popped. Right when the whole panoramic, the scamdemic, pandemic, whatever, right when that popped, I was in LA. That's when the whole mask thing was just starting to happen. People were wearing dish napkins, all kind of stuff. Like they might go to a restaurant, take a little napkin, and they had like a real nice napkin, like Olive Garden type jank that they might wash. They put it on their face for a mask. I was seeing all types of contraptions because that's when everything first started. People didn't really know what to do. But I did not like LA. Rude people, and speaking no English. My Uber driver was real rude. I didn't know where he was at. I'm in this hotel where it's a spot you can park in right in front. It's like a little thing you could drive up, but he wasn't right there. So it took me a while to find him. And when I got to him, he had like an attitude. He didn't speak no English. They don't even really, it's just like do whatever you want to do. I didn't like it. I don't like big cities like that. Especially when you got a bunch of drugs and just nonsense going on. Drugs and gangs and all type of other stuff, I'm good. Give me a smaller place where it's chill and everybody's cool. That's what I like. I'll visit a New York City or a safe spot in LA if it's cool to go when it's warm, but I'm not going to live there at all, period. All right. Unknown caller on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Awesome. I got through. Hey, ABL, it's Otto, the BLM supporter.
All right, man. What's going on?
I wanted to talk to you. I heard recently, a few calls back, there was a gentleman from the hood. He said, and you threw out 1350, but the thing is that you didn't say why 1350 exists. The reason why 1350 exists is because of systemic racism.
Is that right?
The war on drugs.
So wait a minute. So the stat I focused on. So wait. So but before we go there, let's get the thing right that I was saying. The stat that I was focusing on was 13% of the population and 48% of the murder victims. That's the stat I was focusing on because he agreed with me. So he agreed because he said that most black folks kill black folks, most white folks kill white folks. He agreed with that premise. So then I said, okay, well, 13% of the population and we're 48% of the murder victims. So that means that we're killing each other at a very high rate. He agreed. I agree. So do you agree as well?
Yes, but the problem that you what you guys don't understand is the reason why that exists.
So okay, hold on. Before you do that, so you're telling, all right. So you're saying that the reason why black folks kill black folks is because of white folks?
I'm pointing to who created the systemic racism, which is the war on drugs, which was created by the Nixon administration. And also historically, black communities have been disproportionately more policed than white neighborhoods. And also black men receive on average 19% longer sentences than white males. And this is why this is a problem. Whenever you take away a father from a parent, whenever you take away a father from the household, the likelihood that that child is going to engage in crime increases by 10%. And it could increase also by 17%. It depends on the situations. Like it depends on like the rate of poverty and stuff like that.
Okay, so you know that 75, right around there, 75% of black children are born to unmarried parents. But back in 1960, we had 80% married parents having children. So what's it got to do with racism when you don't even have the parents that are married having kids? How can you say that it's the police taking the fathers away when the dads weren't there from the beginning? Because 3/4 of black, wait, I'm not done. 3/4 of black children are born outside of wedlock.
The reason why that has to do with racism is because, like I said before, black men receive on average 19.1% longer sentences.
But wait, no. Because listen to what I'm saying. We're talking about, okay, you can't have a baby if you're in jail. You got to be able to be outside the penitentiary to have a baby. Yes?
That's correct.
So why not get married before the baby? That's nothing to do with incarceration, because in order for a baby to come into the world, you got to actually be out of jail. So before that can happen, the whole baby part, you can get married and then have the baby. We used to do that at an 80% rate in 1960. So why is it not like that anymore? Do we have a more racist country now in 2021? Or was it more racist before civil rights in 1960?
I would like to point to systemic racism again. Okay, look, systemic
How?
racism.
Wait. Okay, hold on. Now, again,
all right, go ahead.
What I said was, we're talking about the baby coming into the world. Racism, nothing to do with it, because the person, the father, is not locked up. You can't be locked up, have a baby at the same time. You got to be free in the world. So why can't we get married before the baby happens?
Okay, so look, when I'm talking about taking away fathers, I'm talking about fathers that already gave birth to a child. I'm not talking about before.
Okay, so
I'm talking about
okay, so how do we explain the 75% out of wedlock birth rate compared to 1960 with an 80% two-parent household married birth rate? How do we explain that?
Is there any stats that show what percentage of those 75% are in jail? Because I bet you anything that statistic is something you guys don't like to talk about.
You can't, sir. Listen. We're kind of going in circles. We got to get beyond this point. So
okay,
here's the point that I made. In order to have a baby, in order to create a baby, the father cannot be in jail. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So you have to get married before the baby is conceived to, get married before the baby is conceived. That's what I'm saying. So if the father is not in jail when the baby's conceived, then you can get married before then and then have the baby and go about it that way. Right? That makes sense, don't it?
I mean, that does make sense.
So if you're in jail, that whole process it can't happen if you're in jail, the baby part. So if the baby part can't happen when you're in jail, then you can get married before the baby part, which is what you did when you were not in jail. It's a sequence of events. Even if he does get locked up, they're still married before the baby comes.
Okay. The thing is that I would like to ask how you feel about systemic racism. Specifically, why do black men receive on average 19.1% longer sentences than those of white men? Because you're taking away the fathers from the households. And when you do that, the percentage of these children that are more likely to engage in crime, it increases. That's why 1350 exists.
First of all, okay, if you go to jail, you're not going to be in jail for your whole life. Not all the time. Sometimes if you're just a murderer or something like that, you might go to jail for life. But usually you got guys that go to jail for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. They're not going to be in jail forever. Most guys are going to be in jail for a short period of time and they come back. So if you're talking about incarceration, taking the fathers away, is it for the whole 18 years? Is it for the whole life? Normally, no, that's not what happens. That's number one. And then number two, we have a very high crime rate in the community, very high crime rate. So that's causing the incarceration. People just making bad choices, making their own decisions. People talking about, it's because of money and gangs. What do gangs got to do with little kids getting killed? You got 2 black men who got arrested for killing a 7-year-old girl. What does that got to do with money or
Okay.
anything like that? They killed a baby, a 3-month-old baby. What does that got to do with that? Okay, I saw a guy walking in New York City stab another black man in the face with a knife randomly. What's that got to do with money or anything? We got some serious problems, some serious criminality that you can't explain away with racism.
But it's because the thing is that the reason why gangs existed in the first place is because of the war on drugs.
What the gangs got to do with killing a 7-year-old girl and a 3-month-old baby?
Oh, well, I thought we were talking about black crime.
That's why I just said that's black crime right there. I just said 2 black men got arrested for killing a 7-year-old girl. Another black man got arrested for killing a 3-year-old. Wait. That's black crime right there. We're talking about random acts of violence, not gang affiliated, little kids getting killed. We're talking about that kind of stuff. 80-year-old women getting raped by black. What's that got to do with gangs?
Okay, so why do you believe that there's more amounts of homicides in black communities?
I'm gonna break it down to you like this. The first thing is we got people making terrible choices in the community due to family structure not being there, bad culture. People can talk about incarceration, but that's not even really it. I'm gonna tell you what happened. You already had a problem with crime before civil rights. Martin Luther King said, hey, the black community is 10% of the population in St. Louis, but accounts for 58% of the crime. We got a problem. He said that back in like the early 60s, late 50s. He said that. Martin Luther King Jr., the same guy, content, the character, this, that, and the third. He said that. So we have that. Then here comes welfare state, Lyndon Baines Johnson. When the welfare state happened, a lot of the women chose the state over the man, which is why you had an 80% 2-parent household rate in 1960 in a time when there was actual segregation in the books, more racism, closer to the end of slavery, in the worst time as far as race relations are concerned. In 1960, we had an 80% 2-parent household rate that devolved into almost the reverse, almost an 80% single-parent household rate because of the Great Society. You get all these welfare benefits and everything else. That's subsidizing the single-parent households. Women thought they could just do it on their own with the aunties or whatever, but what you ended up creating was a bunch of monsters that influence other monsters. Now you have a higher crime rate than there already was. And now we're dealing with the effects of it. That's what happened, not the war on drugs, because the problem existed before the war on drugs.
Okay, one thing I do like about what you're saying is that you're taking accountability, which is something that I wish our communities would do, and I say that as a person of color. But one thing that I would like to ask you, is there anything about Black Lives Matter that you like? Just one thing that you could say that you point to and you like about it?
No. I don't see
at all.
I don't see anything. Maybe there's something that I've missed, but from what I've been able to see, all I see is destruction. All I see is chaos. And all I see is the leaders getting a bunch of money while those that are on the ground. You know what? Okay. If I got to find something that I like, I'll say that some people that I know in real life that are not like in leadership positions, they're trying to make a difference in the community aside from the leaders. I disagree with what they're doing, but they're trying to make a difference. But the people that actually run the organization and BLM itself, I don't like. But some of the people I think are okay that I know personally. Aside from that, no, I'm good.
All right. Well, I guess we kind of didn't see eye to eye on systemic racism, but it was interesting to see your point of view. I'll go ahead and rewatch the tape, hear what you said. But thanks for taking my call.
All right, thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
All right, peace.
All right, shout out to the caller. Hey, you know what? I appreciate when people call that disagree with me and have a civil discussion. I appreciate that a lot. So shout out to him. A lot of people call. Oh, they don't call. He called, so shout out to him. But a lot of people, they troll in the chat and say this, that, and the third. But he has the courage to be able to call up, have a disagreement, have it be civil. So shout out to him. But BLM, I can't do nothing with BLM. Now, some people I know that are involved with it, I want to say, hey, you got to get out of here. But I knew them before they got involved with it, and they always been doing good things. And they're trying to do good things, but they're just misguided about how to go about it. That's just how I look at it. But BLM itself, no. BLM is a terrible organization. And I wish that people that I know that are good people would get out of it. It's like, you ever see anybody in the cult and they trapped, but that's your friend and you love them? That's kind of how I feel like BLM is. 619, you don't know who am I speaking to?
It's Pam. Hi, ABL. I'm calling from San Diego, California, and Bruce Jenner, whatever his name is, Caitlyn Jenner. We have a former mayor. His name is Kevin Faulkner, and he's also running for governor of California. And he's much better.
Okay, all right. Now,
And he's a Republican.
Now, can he win though? Because see, my thing is this: I'm looking at Caitlyn Jenner. I'm looking at that person as a person that has a chance, because I know how California is. It's rough to try to be a conservative and win, like on a state level. Locally, certain spots, yes, you can be a conservative and win, but the whole state, you're trying to battle the monster that's Los Angeles and also the Bay Area. You battling two monsters, and it's very hard to defeat. Now, Caitlyn Jenner, you got all types of things, a lot of checks you can tick. You got famous person, of course, of Kardashian royalty, basically, check. Probably got a bunch of money, check. You have somebody that is very well known for sports, the sports world. Sports fans gonna love him, check. Then you got the whole LGBTQ ABCDEFG thing, check. I think that will give him a big chance of being able to succeed versus a guy that is conservative, true blue, but has no name power and no hook that can get him above a person that has already been put in line, like a Gavin Newsom or anybody of that ilk.
I don't know. I think or whatever that people underestimate or whatever California, because I think they're tired of Hollywood. I believe that they're tired of this ABCDEFG stuff. I believe or whatever they're tired of the school system. And I don't know. I just think or whatever that I'm going to keep praying about it. But I don't think too many people going to just jump on the bandwagon because of all that. I don't know.
You'd be surprised. I mean, you definitely be surprised because, it was the same thing said about Trump. Now, I don't want to compare Big Bruce to Trump. I don't want to do that. I'm just saying it was the same type of thing. Oh, Trump can't win. It's impossible. And he shocked the whole world when he did it. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But hopefully, whoever wins is better than Gavin and anybody like Gavin.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was one of them that definitely put my name on that recall when they first did it. And then we had to do a second one because we didn't get enough. So I've done it twice, and I pushed for it or whatever. So we got it. And I just want to say or whatever that I grew up in D.C. and I'm out here in San Diego now. I'm ready to move, but I don't know. I just remember or whatever growing up, and it just was not like this. It just wasn't, And
yeah. I got family up there. I got family in Southeast Cap Heights, and I would go there a lot as a kid. Now going there as an adult is night and day from what it was.
Yeah, I was back there, whatever, in 2012 for a funeral, and I'm from Southeast, and it's just so different. It's just so different. And then they just had a shooting or whatever. I don't know if you heard about it. Young lady who was 18 years old on Southern Avenue, and she got shot down by her baby dad's brother, and she lost her life, but the baby is still fighting for her life. So. It's just sad.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, broad daylight. Everybody just stood there watching him shoot her. Didn't do nothing. And then he walked away.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. But just want to say or whatever. All skin folk ain't kinfolk.
That's right.
But y'all have a good evening. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
Good night.
All right. Shout out to the caller from the area. The area, as y'all say up there. Shout out to her. But yeah, California's going to be a tough nut to crack. No pun intended. Please don't clip that. But anyway, it's going to be hard because of how it is. Just saying, friend, in Los Angeles, you got two big monsters. It's like you got a virus within the state. A lot of conservative spots in the state, and it's cool and it's everything. But once you get to these big places that have so many population, you have 10 million people in LA County. 10 million. That's not even including once you get beyond LA County, where it's still kind of contiguous, like Orange County and places like that. It's a beast. Orange County is more conservative, but still a lot of liberal folks that may vote a particular way. All right, let's go to 516 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, bud?
Not too much, man. What's going on?
All right, I just with the other caller, the one that said the 19% more black men go to jail.
Yeah.
That's because they have prior arrests. Majority of them get arrested more.
There you go.
So, you know, that's all it is. Like that study, it's true. 19% do go to jail more, but that's because of their prior arrests.
And also, one thing I see, like when you look at these shows like First 48 and stuff, you got a lot of guys, a lot of the black guys, unfortunately, from what I see on the shows, they'll talk, no lawyer, just say whatever, start singing. Mexican guys, a lot of these narco guys, they don't say a word. Lawyer, that's it.
Yeah. And I've been like in and out of jail. Sorry, my throat. I just had surgery. I've been in and out of jail since I was like 15, and I've been arrested 16 times before. The longest sentence I did was a little one. It was like 60 days. Okay. And I've gotten arrested with black people, and they'll be my co-defendants. We'll be in front of the judge together, and I'll get a harsher sentence. You know, because I've
got priors.
The judge always saw me. Like,
right.
That's all it was. Like, they'll walk free, they'll pay a fine, and I'll have to do like a week in jail, and I'm white.
Right.
So what that guy said, 19% blacks do more jail time, but that's because of their prior arrests.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean, to him, maybe he just wasn't thinking about that part, but that does make sense. You got priors, that definitely play into it. And a lot of these places, it kind of evens out, because if you get arrested 1,000 times and you get a bunch of light sentences, and then you finally go to the penitentiary because you'd have been arrested a bunch of times and going to jail, like it kind of makes sense. And really, I would say that a lot of black folks get softer sentences, especially initially, because you saw the whole thing in D.C. where the girls, they killed the man that was the Uber Eats driver. The police chief came out and said, hey, what's the point in sending them to the penitentiary, because it won't bring the man back. He said that on TV. So I see that type of stuff a lot. But when you have repeat offenders, they go over and over, and then they finally get sent up, that's when they get the big number. So that makes sense.
I mean, my throat is like killing me.
I hear you, man. So
I shouldn't even have had call.
You got to recover, man. So thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, thanks, bro.
All right, yeah, man. You got to get some time to recover, man. Get some time to recover. Yeah, if you get arrested 100 times and then time 101 you go to the penitentiary, you can't really use that. That's not. You got to compare apples to apples. Yes, really. The police chief got on TV and said, hey, what's the point of sending them to the penitentiary? It won't bring the man back. He said that. Black male police chief in D.C. This is what I'm saying. I mean, this whole thing about longer sentences is not really real. You got guys that get slaps on the wrist. I know guys that have been to the penitentiary. No, I a lot of friends or guys that I know that have been locked up, and they only get big time if they got a bunch of priors or if it's like a really big offense. Like, I know one guy that did like a series of bank robberies, like a series of them, not just one. It was a whole bunch of them. It's a string of robberies. He got like football numbers, like 30. But I know some guys when they committed violent crime, they get 5 years just for the weapon, and that's it. They might throw the actual violent crime away. But that's a different story. I digress. $206 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, yo, man, what up, man? This Earl, man. This ABL.
Yes, it is.
All right, man. My partner told me to check you out, dog. And man, I got some questions I want to ask for you. You a Republican, right?
Yeah, I'm conservative. Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, I'm not in a political party because I'm not actually elected official, and I don't register for a party out here in Tennessee. So I'll just say I'm conservative.
So you would vote for a Democrat?
It depends on the situation, but normally I wouldn't.
All right, because my partner was telling me, he told me like 3 times to watch this. And I'm over sitting here watching this, man. And man, the thing that don't make no sense is everybody knows that the Republicans are corny and the Republicans are racist. You got like the whole border thing. He was trying to tell me that there's a crisis at the border. Trump made that crisis, homie. Trump did that. He put kids in the cages. It's all over TV. So why do people why y'all over here trying to defend all these ain't Republicans or conservatives ain't like 99.9% of them white?
Well, apparently not, huh? Apparently not. I mean, are you for real? Are you trolling or are you being serious?
What do you mean? I'm trying to figure out why y'all like you put that governor, that black dude on TV, and he's like, America's not racist.
Senator
America is super racist, man. Look at the history, man. Fire hoses and slavery.
The history. On, dog. What's that got to do with right now? The history. That's not what's happening
right
today.
Now, oh, I don't know. You got a whole bunch of white supremacists storming the Capitol.
Oh, is that what they were, white supremacists?
I mean, what were they? I didn't see no brothers over there. I didn't see no Mexicans. I didn't see no Asians.
Oh, so because you saw mostly white people, and then the media told you that they were insurrectionists, it means they got to be white supremacists too?
Well, here's the thing that I want to ask, because why do y'all bash the media all the time? Like everything on TV, everybody's lying to us. Everybody's lying to us on TV.
Well, I won't say everybody's lying, but there's a whole lot of lying going on. I mean, even when I was a little boy, even when I was still liberal in my mind, Mama always said, don't believe everything you see on TV. So how was it any different than what we're talking about right now? You see something on TV, it might not be true.
Like what though?
I mean, plenty of things like this whole thing.
You had a white supremacist as our president. He put kids in cages.
Who was that?
And then now they're trying to fix it.
Oh, okay. So they're trying to fix it by opening up more cages, right? And putting more kids in their cages. Is that fixing it? Because Trump had closed a lot of these so-called. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Barack Obama built those cages. Yes. Trump used them, closed a bunch of them, and then you got Biden reopening them because you're having more kids coming to the border due to what Biden is saying, due to his incentivizing of the border being open and attracting them to come here. You got one of these places that's supposed to have 200 people, has 4,000 people in it. Trump didn't do that. Biden did that.
That's not, hey man, you can Google it right now and you'll see Trump had kids in cages at the border.
So did Obama have kids in the cages?
That Obama didn't put nobody in no cages.
Oh,
man.
he didn't?
I didn't see nothing on TV about that.
I mean, why didn't you see it on TV? You think because they ain't want you to see it, but they want you to see it when Trump does it?
They just calling him out. They calling out Trump. I mean, I'm glad we got him out of there, man,
Let me ask you this.
We can get back to normal.
Do you believe everything you see on TV?
Man, not everything. Not everything is fiction. Not everything is true.
How do you pick?
Obama, the black man, didn't put no kids in cages.
He sure did. He sure
Trump.
did. And you want to bet? You want to bet some money on it? Put some money on it.
Like, why would you tell me something like that? I've never seen anything like that.
Because the media are lying to you, sir.
Where's your proof?
I'll put it on the screen right now. Do you know who Jay Johnson is?
Nope.
Jay Johnson was Barack Obama's DHS secretary, Department of Homeland Security. Okay. Now, there were some pictures that the media were trying to use to say that Trump put kids in cages, but the pictures came from Obama's administration. Now, I'm going to put it on my screen right now. You can look it up. You can search yourself, Jay Johnson, J-E-H Johnson, cages. Search it for yourself. I'll put it right here on the screen. This is him, Jay Johnson, in the cages. You can see the black man right there with the dark blue polo shirt in khaki pants and brown shoes with his hands in his pockets, bald head, hair on the side. That's him right there in 2014-15. And right to his right, but to my left on the screen, is the cages. It says males, 16 to 17, in them same tinfoil blankets that you saw that Trump had in them cages, them same floors. You got kids right there in the cages. That's him. That is Jay Johnson under Obama's administration. Obama built the cages. That's a fact.
Well, where you finding what?
Google it. I said it.
I don't know, man. I just
Google it. Matter of fact, don't believe me.
On.
Don't believe me. Just Google it. Jay Johnson, Jeh Johnson cages. You'll see it for yourself. You'll see it.
I was saying, man, I watch TV all the time, and I ain't seen none of that. I just seen all kind of racism, and then now we got people trying to fix it. Now I ain't no Joe Biden fan or nothing like that, but I know he's trying to fix it.
I can't tell because he's having more kids in the cages. He's opening up more spots. Matter of fact, I saw it on TV. I was surprised they showed it on TV because they don't really want to show stuff like this. But they showed how one of these centers had developed from not really being a whole lot there to completely packed with these tents with kids in them. Completely packed under this administration.
Well, all right. Like, all right, they all presidents. Then why are black people getting gunned down by the thousands in the streets and nothing happening to white people?
Well, who's doing it? Who's doing the gunning down? Who's doing the gunning?
The police, man. They're killing thousands of people.
By the thousands? Do you have any evidence for thousands of people getting killed by the police?
It's on TV all the time. You don't see white people saying they can't breathe.
Because the media show you whatever they want you to show. Do you know who Tony Temper is?
Who?
Tony Temper. Do you know who that is?
You spitting all kind of names. I don't know about.
I'm asking you. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know what you know. What you don't know. I'm asking you a question. So you don't know who that is?
No, I don't know who that is.
Look him up. Tony Temper. Timpa. Tony Temper. Tony Temper died the same way George Floyd died. Matter of fact, they were on his back for longer, on his neck and his back for longer than George Floyd, like double the time. But you didn't hear about him.
Yeah, but that don't happen that often, though, man. They're killing black people.
But why
killing us?
Why didn't you hear about it? Why didn't you hear about it? You heard about George Floyd. Why not Tony Temper?
Because it don't happen that often. This happens. The police be racist every day.
So how often do you see somebody get their neck kneeled on by the police?
All the time.
You seen that? Who else besides?
You look at the TV.
Wait. Hold on, sir.
They shot a 16-year-old
wait.
girl.
No. Let's stay where we are. Who else have you seen have their knee on their neck and then die besides George Floyd? Just one person. Tell me who.
I've seen people.
Just one person. Give me one name. Tell me right now.
All the time. I don't know.
You don't know because you never see it. George Floyd was the only one, but you didn't see Tony Temper because the media don't want you to see that. They want you to think that the police are just bad. And you know what's the funny part is that they're gonna tell you that the police are bad and hate cops and ACAB. So you're gonna say, hey, defund the police, get rid of the police. And what they're gonna bring in
should defund the police.
Okay, cool. And guess what? That's what's gonna happen when you do that. What's going to happen is they're going to bring in the federal troops. They're going to bring in the military to the streets. That's what's going to happen. They already done it. Oh, bring in the National Guard. They already been in. They still in D.C. occupying D.C. The National Guard is. So why wouldn't that happen where you live at?
I tell you that the police are killing us by the thousands, and you just bring up one white man.
Okay, but look, check it out. We went past that. You say you want to defund the police, but what happens when that happens and then they bring the National Guard out to where you live in the military? Isn't that worse?
I'm not thinking about it. All I know is they killing us now.
Okay, but check it out. Do you think
day.
Listen. Do you think that the National Guard and or just the military in general will be better or worse than the police when they patrol your neighborhood?
The military come in, man. That's us. Military ain't gonna mess with us like the police.
Oh,
the police kill us.
Okay. So the military. So
right?
you have no problem with U.S. troops being deployed on Americans. So if there's any kind of problems, they got to intervene. There's no problem with the military
That
being
ain't going to
there.
happen. When are they going to bring the military in?
They've already
All
already
I'm just
done it.
saying is,
Sir,
the police
listen.
kill like 30 black men a day.
Sir,
it needs to stop.
The police have already been deployed, and the military have already been deployed in D.C. The National Guard is occupying D.C. right now. They got like 5,000 troops in D.C. now, and they had 20,000 troops after the whole Capitol thing. They got 5,000 troops right now in D.C.
And then ain't no black people dying, huh?
Oh, I mean, the black people are dying because black people are getting killed by each other.
Always got to bring that up. I mean,
is that fine or not? Is that
racism.
okay? Is that are you cool with that?
I don't want us, but when the police are killing us like 10, 15 people a day, we got to do something.
That's not true. Where you getting your stats from? TV?
I don't know, like Twitter, TV.
Twitter?
Like,
oh, okay. So do you think your stats on Twitter are correct?
You're trying to tell me that they ain't killing us. Like,
I'm asking where your information is coming from.
genocide
I'm
out there.
asking you where you're getting information from. You telling me Twitter. I mean, you think that's accurate?
I mean, it's on TV.
Oh, so anything on Twitter or on TV is right then, right?
I mean, I see it.
Oh,
They just
okay.
shot that girl. They killed George Floyd. They
So-
shot Jacob Blake.
He didn't die, did he?
Well, they shot him.
Oh, but he didn't die. But you said he getting killed all the time. But you named two people that got killed in that
How
shit.
come? Okay, let me just ask like this: how come they don't kill white people? Like, they don't kill no white people every day, but they kill black people like 10, 15 people a day.
More whites get killed by police than blacks. Look it up.
Where do you go? Where do I look that up? Show me where
Just
I can
Google
look
it.
that up.
Okay. People. I'm gonna Google it right now. People killed
I'm
by
Googling it right now.
police race 2020. Let's just do that.
You tell me which one. I got MSNBC, CNN, and
You
Huffington
didn't
Post.
Google it that
Which
quick.
one?
Stop making up stuff. Stop making up because I
I'm
just got it
Googling- I'm
myself
looking
and then
at
I
the
typed before you
screen
did.
right now, bro.
Huh?
I'm looking at the screen right now. I got three choices. I got HuffPost, CNN, and MSNBC.
Okay. What
Which
term?
one?
What term did you use to Google?
What?
What term did you use to Google? When you Googled it, what term did you enter? What did you enter to Google? What did you search for?
Black people police killed.
Okay, how about let's do this? Let's do people shot to death by police so you can compare whites to blacks. How about that? That makes sense, don't it? So here's what I have. I'm gonna put it on the screen right quick, and then I gotta get to the next call. So here's a graph. This is Statista.com. You can check it out. The white number is much higher than the black number. It's right here on the screen.
What's that website that you talking about?
Statista.com. And matter of fact, here's
like Dave Batista.
Okay. I Googled people killed by police race 2020. That's what I Googled right there. It's right on the screen. People killed by police race 2020. And I clicked on the first result from statista.com, pardon me. And then the graph comes up and it says right here, whites are more than blacks, more than Hispanic, more than other. And then you have an unknown category. So here it is.
They lying?
Huh?
You don't think they're lying to us?
Why would they be lying?
You don't.
Why?
I don't know. I'm looking at Washington Post right now.
And what does it say?
And they say that it says 985 people have been shot and killed by police in the last year. And it says Michael Brown.
Okay, but you got to cut to the
man.
chase because we got limited time. So how many of them were black and how many of them were white?
This says Black Americans are shot at a
No. The question, sir, listen, because you got limited time. The question was, how many of that number are black and how many of them are white?
This is 1507 total killed. White 2,886.
Okay, so 1507 black and 2,200 white. Is that what you said?
They kill more black people than that a year. That's not right.
Oh, that's your source. You found it. So find the right source. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, sir, but we got no more time. It's been a long call. Thank you for the call, man. Hey, just keep Googling, man. Keep searching. You're going to find the truth, man. Thank you for calling. I appreciate you.
All right.
He's like, wait a minute, that's not right. That's not the right numbers. Hold on. Yeah. So, hey man, it's the truth. The truth is the truth, man. I can't make it up. It's right here. Now, matter of fact, let me just look at these numbers since I had them up anyway. So, all right, in 2020, there were 457 people that were white that got shot by police, shot and killed by police, not just shot. In 2020, there were 241 blacks. So 457, 241, almost half the number of whites. Oh, it's population. Okay, well, whatever. The numbers are right there. I'll move on. And the TV said that that's not true. Hey, man, mama always told me, do not believe everything you see on TV. You know, news, sports, whatever. TV, they tell you whatever. They tell you lies. Turn off the boob tube. All right, let's get to the next one here. 412, you don't line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. My name's Heather. I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
All righty, what's going on?
Sorry about that last caller. That was a mess.
It's all good.
Oh, classic victim of the media. Sad.
It happens a lot, more than what we know.
Yeah, but you told him some facts, so that's good. Hopefully he learned something today.
Right.
So I just wanted to ask you, I'm seeing a lot of specifically white liberal women like Joy Behar and many others talk down on people like Tim Scott for really, they're claiming he doesn't know what racism is. And I'm just like, I'm a white woman too, and it makes me so mad that I'm seeing so many white women, white people in general, telling black people like what racism is and telling them how to live and how to feel. And it makes me so mad as a white person, because I know, like, you know, black people are very intelligent. There's people like you and Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, Larry Elder. And I just want to know how it makes you feel that all of these white liberals, who are literally the worst, in my opinion, always talk down on people like yourself.
It's funny. It's funny, but at the same time, it's sad. And it just proves my point. This is a big part of the reason why I left the left, because I would see that a lot, actually. I saw it more than I would want to see it. So I'm over there on the left, and I'm thinking that I'm doing the right thing and all this and that. And then when there be somebody that disagrees with the leftist point of view that happen to be black, they would get a lot of racist and negative comments from the left, from a lot of white folks. So I'm like, okay, why are you saying these things? Why are you being racist? Because even when I was on the left, I wasn't ridiculously on the left. I still had a little bit of sense. Even as a young man, I still will understand that you wouldn't just insult somebody on the racial level, especially if you black and they're white. But anyway, so that's a big part of the reason why I left. And then when I came over here to the right, I did not experience any kind of racism or anything. So what they said, what happened on the left when I would go to the right, didn't happen. But what did happen is I got a bunch of racism from the left. So all that it does is it just validates me and what I thought and my whole thought process about being conservative. And it points to them being ignorant, and it points to them just kind of what they call it. They're projecting their own insecurities upon me and people like me. Oh, you're racist, you're this and you're that, when really it's them that are the racists and all these other opsionists.
Yeah, it just really bothers me because, you know, they claim to be like the party of love and tolerance and anti-racism, but then as soon as a person of color, thinks or speaks differently from them, they have a total meltdown, and they use terms like Uncle Tom, Uncle Tim. When I saw that trending, it was so upsetting to me, because I really like Tim Scott. But yeah, it upsets me so much to see. I just wanted to get your opinion about it.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem. Take care.
Same to you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that whole thing with people like Joy Behar and everybody, I get that so much. Like, you'd be surprised, especially when you get like these white liberals that feel like they can hide behind a private messaging app or Facebook group or something like that, they'll say some of the most racist things. You'd be totally surprised. Well, I mean, you guys are awake in a true sense, not woke like the left, but you guys really understand what's going on. So it wouldn't surprise you really. But to people that are kind of new to this whole thing, normies, newbie normies, they're totally surprised when they hear stuff like this. All right. All right, I call you on line speaker 2757.
Yeah, Mr. Logan, Chesapeake Bob here. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. How about yourself?
You know, I sit back and watch your shows all the time. And I said, I'm not going to call in. I'm going to give it a break. But tonight, couldn't let it go, man. First of all, it's a great show. By the way, I love the pictures that you and your wife put out.
Thank you.
I wanted to know, had you heard about the Norfolk cop that gave that donation to that Rittenhouse kid?
You heard about that, and they fired him?
They fired him. Okay, now, I thought I could give money to anybody I wanted to. Apparently, now granted, he should not have used the Norfolk email account. Okay, got that. But it's still, he didn't break no law.
Yeah, I mean, is it any sense of proof he guilty or what? I mean, because he it's not like they're making it seem like he donated to some kind of terror organization or something like that. But nah, it's just a defense fund for a man that has not been found innocent or guilty. He's just facing trial. That's it. So it seems
it's not
pretty
like
crazy.
he was like. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it seems crazy. Now, did that come from the police chief in Norfolk?
It did come from the chief of police.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird because I actually live very close to the recently retired Virginia Beach chief of police, and he thought it was over the top.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I wanted to talk about the dude from the hood and the bro who watches TV. Is that all right?
Go for it.
My point that I want to bring up is this. It's Saturday night, and they're listening to your show. Maybe you're getting through.
You got a good point, for sure. Like, I thanked him for calling because I appreciate that he's kind of open-minded to call into a show where he's going to disagree and he's asking questions. That right there, that's the first step. If I can get you there, then you're on the right path, in my opinion.
I agree with you 100%. I saw the chat. I'm in the chat as you see me in the chat as BKMIT. But saw the chat was coming down on these guys. I think we need more of these guys calling into your show or Tatum show or whoever else, like, Jericho Green show. And maybe slowly, it's going to take a while, maybe we can turn some brains.
Definitely. That's what I want, and I have a wide open platform. If I see anybody in the chat that has a different point of view, I always tell them, man, call on up, man. Let's talk, have a conversation, and then see where it goes.
Anyhow, I just I couldn't let that go. I wanted to call in and kind of stress that point that, hey, don't be too harsh on these guys in the chat because you know what? They're here. They're listening. That's step one, like you said. So I'll let you go. I know you're going to sign off and read Super Chats, and I appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Right.
All right. Yeah, great point. It's like they call in, so they're in the right place. 504, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, man, this is Chris from New Orleans.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Oh, not much. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up something that I've always believed about any community, whether it's the black community or any other community. Anytime that you have a community that harbors and idolizes their criminals, then you're going to have problems within that community. If you look at the Italian community back in the day when they were, when all that stuff was going on during Prohibition, that led to problems within that community. And I feel like that is a problem in the community that people never face.
I mean, so are you saying that like the war on drugs, that's like an issue?
No, not the war on drugs necessarily. I'm just saying that the black community has a problem with their view of the criminals within the black community.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of that going on where people that would be shunned by others are kind of like
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
yeah, I understand what you're saying. And then that becomes a problem when like you move into a nice new neighborhood like where I live now. Nice neighborhood, neighbors are nice, everybody's nice, everybody's cool. If I was to bring one of my, cousins that gets a little extra out here and have them stay here, now we got a problem because they are not used to this kind of environment. They're not going to be acclimated to it. So I can't have that happen. But a lot of people, they'll look at that cousin as okay, and he's cool. He can come out here because they don't want to just shun him until he gets himself together. They'll just accept him the way he is, drinking, drugging, thugging. You can't have that kind of energy around you if you're going to be going forward. Now, some may say that it's kind of harsh, how you're going to abandon family, but it's not even about being harsh. It's about just doing what's right. I can't enable this kind of behavior. I can't accept that kind of behavior. Either you're going to be right or I'm not going to be dealing with you. That's the way it has to be. And we got to be able to accept that within ourselves.
Yeah, that's true. And also, young children are influenced by that. When their parents look up to or harbor someone who's just not acting right in the community, then those young children see that guy as being cool or somebody that's a role model. And that is not the kind of role model you want to put out there. It creates problems within the community.
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
On a huge scale. And also the guy was right when he called and said, why are black people getting longer incarceration rates? And it's because of prior offenses, but it's also because they're less likely to participate with the police when they're initially arrested, and then they don't trust the public defenders, and there's just a whole line of things that go into that because they're taught at a young age that the system's against them.
Yeah, it's a lot of problems, and then one thing I see all the time is the talking when you get into the courtroom. I mean, once you get arrested, want to talk right away, don't want to talk to a lawyer properly, that right there is a big problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't trust the system, and they're taught that. It's not like, you just come up not trusting the system. It's that you think that you're at a disadvantage from the get-go, so you create problems for yourself.
Right, exactly.
Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Like I said, the one guy really hit it on the head when he said the incarceration rate was because of prior offenses, but I wanted to add a little bit to that.
Well, thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Take it easy.
All right. Great show tonight. Thank you all for being here. That'll be a wrap for the calls. If you couldn't get on tonight, it's not my fault. You got to blame the white man for that, but I'll be back live again on Wednesday night, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Had a lot of fun. Always have a lot of fun. Shout out to everybody that called in. Great conversation. Agree, disagree. It's all good. All right. I got super chats to read right quick, and then I'll wrap it on up, put the bow on the top. Shout out to the mods for doing a great job, keeping them trolls in check, keeping everything nice and smooth. And we got about 2,500 strong. Great, fantastic. If you guys have not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. And also, if you enjoyed tonight's show, if you enjoyed the content in general on the channel, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up button. That'd be tremendous. Also, if you're listening to me on your favorite audio streaming platform, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating or whatever you can on that. I'd most certainly appreciate you if you did. And if you didn't know, this will be available as audio only through your favorite audio streaming platform, Google Play, Apple iTunes, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. Link for that will be in the box. You could just search on your platform for ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Alrighty. Thank you to Texas Sweet Tea, who says, thank you for being the best on the internet's ABL. Thank you for your support. Couldn't do it without you. Shout out to Joe Ryder 84, who says, Tim Scott is a smart one and Biden is a dumb one, period. Per Kayla says, Mitt Romney got booed off the stage at the Utah GOP convention. I saw that. That was funny. But there were some people that were trying to, applaud. It's like, why? Why are you applauding Mitt Romney? What has he really done? I'm not in Utah, so I can't speak to what he does locally. But if you're a senator, all you do is vote, yes? So what has he voted for that they really appreciate? But I'll move on. Shout out to Lily, who says, this guy makes me embarrassed that I grew up in New Jersey. Thank you to Todd Devine. I know I butchered that, and it's not my fault. Who says, ABL, you must trust the CDC numbers, but not their vaccines. Well, is it the CDC vaccine? I'm not really sure. But thank you for that. Shout out to my man Brandon Tatum, who says, love that hat 1776. You already know what it is. Thank you to Bobby Sharps, who says, thank you for your voice. Have you considered using Streamlabs so you can deprive Google of their cut? Go ABL forever. I may end up doing that. I've not experimented with it yet, so I don't really like sometimes using new technology, trying to get a hold of it while I'm trying to do, you know what I mean? But I may. Thank you to Bobby Sharps, who says, all right, write that one. Thank you to Caliber Neutral, who says, that's a great name, by the way, Caliber Neutral. I out super chatted Brandon Tatum with the 21 rather than the 20. Thank you, man. Thank you to Gregory Sneed for your donation. Thank you to Caliber Neutral, who says, ABL is the man. Can we have a word of silence for the huge uptick in boating accidents and lost weapons? Sad stuff. Hey, man. Moment of silence for all the boating accidents. There you go. Thank you to Gordon Voicing. I butchered that too. Not my fault. ABL, love the show, sir. What's your COD name? And can you please unload your show sooner on Spotify, please, sir? And is there any way we can meet up one day if I go to Tennessee? If not, it's okay. I may do some engagements around here. Matter of fact, I'm going to do an engagement here soon. I have an engagement coming up in June. I'm going to talk about Juneteenth, but it's going to be a conservative convention. It's going to be great. It's not going to be no kind of woke stuff. It's going to be real good. So I'll post, check my social media. I'll post something about that really soon. So that's going to be in June, like right around Juneteenth time. Thank you to, and my code name, ABL_100. If anybody trolls, I'm blocking you immediately. And I'm on PC and, well, I'm on PC mostly. Thank you to Jeff Horton, who says, just thank you for being honorable and decent. Not enough of that today. Well, thank you for that, man. Really appreciate you. Thank you to Darren again for blessing me with the big super chat. I appreciate you, man. Thank you to Mumby's World, who says, keep doing what you're doing. You are the man. Love from Camden, New Jersey. Thank you. Thank you to Free Eagle Patriot, who says, hey, ABL, would you agree that the reason the Democrats are trying to pass H.R. 1 is because they have a fear of losing the Senate in 2022? Of course. They want to maintain control forever. And they know that their margin is very thin right now. And you know what? The thing is, they know that if they do something like this, it's going to be a back and forth. It's going to be like Pong. They'll do it, like they'll do something, we'll do something, back and forth. So they're trying to get stuff done right now, for right now. Just like the whole thing with the Supreme Court. The way it is right now, there's a 6-3 advantage, conservative liberal. 5.5 to, anyway. On paper, 6-3. Sometimes 5-4. Anyway, they want to put 4 more in there to make it a 7-6. You see what I'm saying? Stupid stuff like that. Anyway, thank you to Leo Mazzino, who says, a photo of the Jeopardy champion showing 3 fingers is the same sign the NBA player uses when he makes a 3-pointer. You know what? That whole story was crazy. Did you guys see that story of the Jeopardy guy who was forced to apologize for going like this because he had won 3 games? He did like this when he won 1, 2 when he won 2, and then he did like that when he won 3. Something like that. It might have been like this and then that and then that. And he had to apologize for that because there was over 460 former Jeopardy players who signed a letter talking about you need to apologize and get him off. Like, don't show his content anymore because he's throwing the white supremacist sign. Let me find that right quick. I might do a video on that because that was crazy. Hold on. You guys just hang tight. I know I'll get you out of here pretty soon. Y'all just don't even worry about it. Hold on. Okay. So check it out. Here it is right here. Former Jeopardy contestants demand apology after alleged white power hand sign signal on show. So this is what they're upset about. Okay, this is what they're upset about. This right here. Like, this is crazy. This is the power of internet trolling. This all started as a internet troll where they were trying to say this meant white supremacy or this. Like, they were saying that the 3 fingers were the W and your thumb and your index put together combined with your wrist and your arm made the P. They were saying this means white power. People really believe it. And then, so now making this poor man apologize for doing like this because he won 3 games in a row. This is crazy. So here's the good part. In an open letter on Medium that is purportedly signed by 467 former contestants on the show was accused of giving airtime to a common hand gesture that's been recently appropriated by white supremacy groups. So even though they know this does not necessarily mean something racist, they're saying because he used it and because other so-called white supremacists use it, that means he has to apologize because it's offensive. 400 people plus say that the hand sign is racist. People are crazy. People believe anything they see on TV or on the internet, and they need to stop. Please stop. This had never meant anything other than what we know it to mean. I mean, crazy. It's always been okay or 3 or never anything racist. People are crazy. The Trump derangement syndrome is 1,000% real. I guarantee you, everybody signed that letter has TDS real bad. They're probably on medication for it, but a different story. I digress. I got kind of sidetracked. Thank you to Jeff Horton, who says, can't fix the disparity problem by blaming others and throwing money at it. We have to acknowledge the real problem and fix that first. Culture and morals. There is racism. It's a way secondary to the real problem. Thank you to Matthew, who says, thanks to the stream, ABL. Great callers. Just wanted to say NYC school chancellor is an utter failure for academics. Like jobs, students got to work hard and prep a lot to get into a good school. Exactly. Thank you to Raina, who says, I'm glad this caller called because there are so many people like this. Please show us how to educate them. LOL. He's not joking. He's dead serious. Yeah, my man from that was asking about the kids in the cages. I thought he was joking. I was like, are you being serious? He was like, no, I saw it on TV. It means it's real. Dead serious. It's like, sir, come on, man. Like, I don't believe anything I see on TV, left or right. I got to do my own research, period. That's the way it has to be. You got to do that. You can't just believe whatever they say because they tell you anything to draw ratings and whatnot. This is why any video I do, anything I talk about and I do something on it, I'll give you sources from everywhere. Left, right, independent, everywhere. You make your own mind up. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Look it up. Find it. Be in charge of your own information, your own knowledge, and don't let the media feed you whatever they want to feed you. Don't even let me do it. Thank you to Mac Grindle, who says, more kids in cages by Biden, LOL. Those cages built by Obama. Someone is getting fed what to think. Funny thing, hardly see black people at BLM rampages either. Dozens at dead BLM Antifa violence, and this guy's griping about the horrible 1/6 exactly. Thank you to Raina, who says, if the caller watches TV so much he didn't watch the debate where Trump kept asking Biden who booked the cages. Exactly. Facts. Thank you to Mac, who says, I watch TV all the time. That, sir, is a problem. By the thousands. There you go, Tony Temple. You rock, ABL. Thank you. Thank you to Don Wine, who says, hashtag family reform. Thank you to Wolfgang, who says, don't you dare hold something I do. Don't you dare hold something I did not do against me. You are the reason I'm immigrating away from this country I served and going through the process. Wow. Thank you again, Darren. I appreciate you, man. You making it rain. Thank you to Mac, who says, God's living proof that the media is the enemy of the people. Exactly. He was asking, hey, why are you guys against the media? Why is media the enemy to you guys? Well, you watching TV and having that be your primary source of information, and they're telling you straight lies. Lies. And you believe in it, and you're not alone. People are out there just like you, regular, everyday normies that don't have time to dig into stories and do their own research, are believing what CNN says and MS-13 DNC says. They're believing that stuff. It's crazy. Shout out to Don Wine, who says, if he wants to defund the police, then he should volunteer to be a police officer then. Good point. Thank you to BAMSIS100 for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Mac, who says, went from 30 days to 15, or went from 30 day to 10 to 15 a day. Solid like Fauci. Exactly. Talking about how many black folks get killed by police. Thank you to Eunice who says, we love you, ABL. Your facts are tight. Love when you drop facts. My husband stood up and got off his chair, helping you through the TV screen. Thank you, man. Appreciate y'all. And shout out to you, Eunice. I thank you. Thank you to Raina who says, someone do us all a favor and take this guy's TV, please. LMAO. Thank you to Ty Nicholas who says, kindly open this man's eyes. This will be great. Wolfgang says, black people killing each other, white people killing themselves. Stop being blind and saying all the problems belong to some random person. Thank you to Angel who says, hey, ABL, you on point. Great show. Shout out to Mac who says, HuffPost, MS13, DNC, CNN, ha ha ha. I'm starting to think you planted this guy, ABL. This is too much. I promise I never do no plants. I never, ever just plant a guy to debate with, ever. Thank you to Wendigo who says, TV news is about race baiting and ads, period. Facts. Big time facts. Thank you to Zen Master Me for the cool emoji. Thank you to Leo who says, armed blacks versus unarmed blacks. Thank you to Jamie Fain who says, love the way you talk. Thank you. Thank you to Frank Dest who says, there should be a national database for people who do not want police to be in their neighborhood. I'm sure the police will comply with that. Shout out to Ty Nicholas who says, system got jokes. No Newsom. Bring Caitlyn LGBT. Shout out to Mac who says, anti-racism is just racism with a paint job. Shout out to Contra who says, ABL, thank you for taking the time to be a bridge to both sides. Too many want to make this gang warfare. I'm so glad you helped that, brother. That's how things for us change from victims to champions. God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. It really means a lot to me. All right. Okay. Thank you to Wolfgang who says, if I called in, it would just be me asking hi and letting you know I've been a vanguard in academia, making progress with faculty and admin. Shout out to the anti-view who says, Minnesota newspaper writes, defiance toward police is allowed when you're white, and compliance during encounters with law enforcement is only strictly required when you're black. That's so dumb. It's silly. Like I showed you guys the graph, all the white folks that get shot, killed by police. I mean, people live in their own reality. And that kind of stuff right there would get put on television and broadcast as reality when it's totally false. They had the 1619 lady on TV. Why? You may as well have Alex Haley talking about roots as reality when that was complete fiction. And it was not only fiction, but plagiarized fiction at that. But different story, I digress. Thank you to Radical Moderate who says, I keep trying to call back on Skype, forgetting I called in earlier. Admin's mods, is there a call limit? Yeah, it's one call per night. Thank you for calling, man. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Jenny Jones for the thank you emoji. Thank you to Miss Bernie Boo for thanks for being you. Shout out to Matt Grindo who says, set up a subscribe star ABO. Patreon has a bad stink. Thank you to Wolfgang who says, love the way you laughing. Love the way you blame you send my way. I make sure to walk around and let it go into the ether. I told my advisor I thought whiteness was a slur. Thank you to Sonia who says, Earl is Ivan's alter ego. Congrats to you and your lovely bride on your recent wedding day. Thank you. And shout out to Doe. I know I'm turning your name up. It's not my fault. Miles, who says, thank you for being amazing. May God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Shout out to Brandy for becoming the ABL supporter. And thank you to Leo Mazzino, who says, those who do not get stimulus last can actually add there to the 2020 taxes. Oh, last year they can add to the 2020 taxes? Well, hey, I can't do nothing with that because, Stimmy ain't really doing. All right. So that'll be a wrap for me. Thank y'all for being here yet again. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that for me. I'd appreciate you if you did. And again, thank you to the mods and everybody that's been here. If you're watching, you're subscribing, you're sharing, you're tweeting, whatever you're doing, thank you. And I'll have more wedding photos very soon if you guys want them. That was just like at the ceremony, somebody took a picture and that was a good picture. We got some good ones done. So as soon as we get those, I might drop one here or there, but I can't show everything. That's for the, you know what I mean? But anyway, thank y'all for being here. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.